listening to Kate of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now, it's our turn.
Yeah, good evening. Excuse me. Welcome to Outside the Box. Yeah, we're going to take a wild trip outside the box tonight, I think. Probably a lot of you feeling the same way I do many days, where when you see the language of light, that's what you're watching when you're seeing the Phoenician breakdown using your ears as your eyes instead of your I don't know. It's about that double cross. And the double cross can be taken as, you've been double crossed. Yeah, well, we all got double crossed. That doesn't mean to say we can't double cross back, right? So even a straight line traveled up one way and come back the next is a double cross. So it's time to, start looking at things. Well, we all do, as far as I can tell at this table anyway. Look at things from a completely different perspective. Now, I did do a Mayan card split, and you see, I always do these things in a complete divination, knowing that all things for a reason, all things are perfect, and whether or not you can see it, well, it's going to be the difference between the ego and, not to be using any definitions from any psychology or whatever. Effectively, all the ego is, I just use that word to encompass the emotions, the out-of-control waters, the stormy waters that the majority of humanity gets caught up in. And that's from social programming, cultural programming, your canvas being painted for you the instant you get here by all of those around you, which is not a real sense of the reality. Excuse me, it is one that has been defined and programmed, and it's a playing field here. And it was interesting, I was reading through the book of, what was it? A-E-I-O. Anyway, it's the vowels. Let me just bring it up here. It's friggin' awesome. I should know these things, but let's just say I've had a full day of connecting dots, putting some stuff together. It's the book of IEOU, and very little read, very little known. Bill Donahue does a beautiful piece on it. I was actually spent a fair bit of time looking through that today, decoding things phonetically, correlating all these coincidences. And it gets increasingly difficult to communicate with anyone that are caught in any form of what would be deemed normal way of life thinking. And I tell you, probably the crazier I look, I assure you, the crazier you look. It works that way in the mirror. So that's the whole thing about singularity. If you think I'm crazy, well, just imagine what I think. Okay? It works both ways. You decide to walk in sane or insane. I just chose to follow the yellow brick road and the magic instead of doing the same thing everyone has been doing for the last whoever knows how many thousands of years. Hasn't really worked out that well, I don't think, with wars and stuff. I did a few tie-ins with Aries and Aries. Sounds the same, doesn't it? Well, one's the ram and one's the god of war. It depends on what culture you look at. But then I look at everything to connect everything. Because if the sound means something in one language and something else in another, and it does the same sound, well, you better decide which one you're going to, get singular with. And that's really what Phoenician is. You see, the words are polarized, equal and opposite, and when you start breaking them down, you start seeing these polarities in, crystal clear technicolor. So that's why I've been really harping on this whole Phoenician law, which is the phoenix, and it's not the it's more like phony shun, and to get out of this crazy joke, and that's what it is here. Those that get the joke, isn't it interesting? Let me just go to, where was it? Here it is. I have a lot of pages open right now, and I thought that I would leave them open because I knew I'd be talking about a lot of things tonight. And this one is from the gnosis.org library, and it's regarding the book that I just referenced, the book of IEOU. Now, contained within this is the Coptic key, and do not, so many people get caught up in the symbolism, the symbols. Someone's hitting the crash symbol and they're deafening your eyes, okay? That's not a coincidence. There are none in Phoenician. Okay. Or phony shun. Well, if I'm going to use the shun sound, I'm going to go phony shun. So what we're doing is eliminating this phony nonsense of the literal reality that so many people are worshiping. I did a bunch of word split ups today too, just to play a little bit and keep expanding, exposing what it is I've been talking about for so very long. I mean, the traits of this whole phony shun aspect has been there, looking back at my work. I'm talking even the legal stuff and whatever, way like 3.5, 4 years ago. And I was already doing this, but I wasn't in a state of awareness of doing it. And again, that's it. It's not like I didn't know. There was something intuitive telling me. I just wasn't aware of that knowing. And I keep trying to stress that. You know all things. Just how aware you are of that state of knowing. And if you're not looking, well, oh well. You got to look. It takes a little bit of effort. But it's interesting to note in this doc or the page on the gnosis.org page from the book of IEOU. Where was it? I just want to... It's quite fascinating, connecting it phonetically. Just got to find the one paragraph that I'd like to read, and... here we go. It is spelled J-E-U, if you're going to use the Western alphabet. Okay, in French, jeu means to play or game, right? And you're going to laugh. Anyway, just let me read a little bit of this for you. Remember, don't... anytime you hear the word God or whatever, you know what it is, a source. So just keep that in mind, because it's very easy to get your Anno Domini. And by the way, I broke all that down, so we'll have a little fun with that. Get your Anno Domini set up. Just clear the board here. Lose all charge on all words. And I'm going to come at you from an etheric tonight. More so than probably, well, I do anyway, but more so tonight. I'm going to stay really focused on this. So I'll read a couple of things here, and just keep that in the back of your mind. Stay in the lateral slide here. Don't go up the literal poop chute here. All right. Now, this is chapter 5 of the book of IEOU. You probably didn't notice that one in a Bible, by the way. Yeah. Probably didn't notice a book of wisdom either. Well, you can talk to your Catholic friends to know what that is. Anyway, chapter 5. He has emanated him being of this type. This is the true God. He will set him up in this type as head. He will be called Je, or you can pronounce that Jew. Interesting. Afterwards, my Father will move him to bring forth other emanations so that they fill these places. This is his name according to the treasuries for which are outside this. He will be called by this name. Now remember, this is Jesus talking, okay? That is to say, the true God. He will set him up in this type as head over the treasuries which are outside this. This is the type of the treasuries over which he will set him as head, and this is the manner in which the treasuries are distributed, he being their head. This is the type in which he was before he was moved to bring forth emanations. Source. Okay. Furthermore, he will be called Je, or Jew. He will be father of a multitude of emanations, and a multitude of emanations will come forth from him through the command of my Father. Remember what Father is. That's from the heart. Mother and Father. We've talked about this a few times. Don't get dualized on this whole boy-girl thing, okay? We're dealing singularities here, and I've already shown that they're one and the same. One is the source, Fa, the heart, which is divine feminine. The other is the modus operandi, the mother, which would be, believe it or not, the masculine intent. Funny how that works. Almost like it would in the mirror backwards or something. Kind of a trend on this planet, apparently. But anyway, bottom line is this. We're here playing a game. And if you're not playing, then you're spiraling down. You're caught in the quagmire. You're caught in the oceans, the swirling oceans of emotion. Inasmuch as if you're roiling and broiling in those waters, you're done. It's that simple. Now, that being said, it sounds very final. It is. But here, I was asked earlier today, I think Barbara had asked earlier about emotions. Are they a bad thing? No, they're not. It's the whole purpose of playing, isn't it? The problem is experiencing an emotion and then living there. That's where you become a victim or gripped in time. That's the time trap. That's the time bandit. It's the one that's going to keep owning you and keep you acting and reacting from that same point of negative. Experience the emotion. That's why the wife must be subservient to the husband. Emotions must be subservient to the mind. It's a matter of, are the emotions controlling you? And yeah, there's some days that they're a little tough to get out of, but just spend the time, look at the gratitude contained within it for the lesson you're getting. Because what it gave you was an opportunity to be grateful for learning it. And it's one of those little check marks. Okay, experience that. Cool. Don't have to. And if you just look at it from that perspective, well, that was a really cool experience, or that was a really shitty experience. Cool. I've checked that off your list. You're playing a game. All right. It's a treasure hunt. What do they call those things when you go around grabbing? Yeah, I forget what they're called. Day 5 of a fast. So, yeah, interesting. Yeah, emptied the belly of the beast. That's for sure. Okay, so let's get into a couple of things. I'm just going to get over and check the board here. I got so many windows open. Oh, there's Mike. Hey, Mike, how are you?
Hey, hello all. Yeah, wonderful.
Good stuff. So, what's going on? What's going on with you today?
Oh, where do I begin? Well, yeah, that was almost lifetimes ago. Sometimes when I think about it, when I tried to, let's just say I get up beautiful, and right now it's still beautiful day, shining, blue skies. I can see the ocean, and I've had quite a full day. It's 2 o'clock here, but I'm up early in the pre-dawn hours, and I get to experience so much magic. It feels to me in the first 2-3 hours. It's just so beautiful, and so it just flows from there. And yeah, it's just like gravy. After that, I'm like, wow, I still got much day to experience. Wow, and I've already had a full day.
Yeah, I had a bit of a snow squall come through here today. Nothing major, just wind with a little bit of snow blowing through. So yeah, March is in like a lion. She'll go out like a lamb. That I know. But let's get into a little bit of wordplay here. Now, yeah, it was funny. I was watching a video earlier. Again, I just follow my heart, right? Watched this video earlier from Before It's News. Anyway, something about the Nephilim or whatever. And it's always here. I find it humorous to listen to these R.C. Cola or the Religio Causis Chosenitis, right? Types preaching about deceptions, you know, the deceivers, while they're the ones deceived by the very church scribes and Pharisees Jesus and the other teachers warned them about, you know. It's like it's funny to hear. They're coming down and you're gonna make us gods and of course that's the deceivers. That's Satan apparently. Maybe check your notes there where Jesus said God is light, you're gods, and also had talked about the pineal being the eye of Satan. Yeah. Well, you know, you might want to check this guy that you're claiming to be your savior. Kind of told you, stupid, that if thy eye be single, your body will fill with light. Yeah, that's anyway, I always find this quite humorous. I'm always listening from a singular perspective on these things. You know, it's like I took so many notes today. I was fiddling around with so many things. I was looking at my AC/DC on my chart, my ascending and descending signs, and it's interesting that this thing is Leo, of course, and the descending is Aquarius. So basically it says, I know I will. That's pretty much, I know I will. It's pretty cool. All the clues come out of it, and I have, like, my head is so crammed right now with stuff. If you want to expand, well, let's flip out some words or letters there. We have X, Pan, T, right? And of course, the P is rho, but I'll take the translation of Pan, meaning to go across, you know. So what does expand mean? It means, well, life across the law of truth. And I went into so many things regarding the yin yang, the spiraling in and out. If you look at the swastika, yeah, that's the knot of C, unconditional love, not C. And of course, not C. You're blind. Yeah, this is just crazy fun. I did the NZ, right? From the N Z, not Z, NZ, not C. And there's your swastika. So I of course, did the Z and the N backwards, and well, lo and behold, there's the other spiral. So one is the 6-9 spiraling in, and the other is the 9-6 spiraling out. I've looked at a couple of things today, but I'm going to go down I took a bunch of notes on where we go. Just going to bring it up here. Ongoing word notes. Yeah, just a few coincidences. It's like, I take a couple of I'll start with this. Take a couple of well-known scientists, and like Einstein and Newton. Well, if you just took it from the literal and were only seeing with your eyes, you would be distracted. But let's, I, and which ein, which is the eye that's mine, sty in, Einstein, right? So it's basically a sty in your eye. Get it out. And Newton becomes, spell it, new, N-E-U, from neutral, right? New, so neutral, tone. You get in the neutrals. And D sent me an email. D, slow down on the emails, man. I can't keep up with you. It's way too much reading for me. So kind of condense it, please. I love you. Great work, though. Sent me this diagram of the body grid emotions. And it really nails the whole point of what I'm talking about with the emotions. If you have any fires burning within you at all, you're still in the process of the trial by fire. That's I talked about it last night, Ikshak, Meshach, Laverne, and Shirley, right? Doesn't matter who they are. I could break their names down too, and it'll all make perfect sense. But that was the whole story of that once you burn all of that away, that's your phoenix that's going to rise from those ashes. And it's funny how the phoenix is the phoenix that does this. Yeah, you can't make this shit up. It's perfect. It's beautiful when you see it. And I got to tell you, it's getting harder and harder to look at this world and, well, be in it and try to communicate. Right? Commune, I, Kati, right? Anyway, I was going through the chart here, and it's got there's only one picture here. One, what would be called, it's not an emotion, it's stopped, but anyway, that shows exactly what a blue blood is. Right? So these are picture scans of people. I'm not sure what kind of equipment they're using, but they show the body heat and what have you, right? So you get a kaleidoscopic view of the human body and what's going on. So here we have anger. I'll give you all the emotions: anger, fear, disgust, happiness, sadness, surprise, neutral, anxiety, love, depression, contempt, pride, shame, and envy. Okay, so only one of those is devoid of any flame. Two of them are devoid of flame, but one of them is the mirror opposite of neutral. Neutral is the only one that's got the blue lungs. That's the blue blood. The air. That's what the air is. It's an air sign, H-E-I-R sign. Okay, that ties right in with what Gemini is, and you're all Gemini. You're all of the signs. And actually, in the book of IEOU, goes on to talk about 12. And as I'm reading, I was going, yeah, this is all zodiac, and that's what a fucus is, to become, to take your position, the creation of Phi, sacred geometry, with intent. Cues. Take your cues. Or cuss. If you won't heal, then you're going to be cussed. That's kind of how it works. And the only place that you can get there in is the deepest, darkest is neutral. Anger, the upper half of the body is just lit up like a Christmas tree. Happiness, the whole body is lit up. So it's your glee of insanity. Right? Again, good and evil are both the same thing. And it looks to me like happiness is the most dangerous emotion of all. And it says love here, but I know when they're talking about the emotion of love, there's a lot of confusion there. The more accurate word is infatuation or lust. Okay? Because, you see, love's not an emotion. Love is a state of being, and it's neutral. It is unconditional. It's the law of truth. So I would change up the love on this to probably more accurately lust, infatuation, whatever you want to call it. The physical attribute of what people deem to be called love, that total infatuous connection, right? which of course is going to lead to happiness. So there you go. So that's where you're going to be the most separate from the all, from source. And it plays out perfectly in terms of mortal versus immortal. And while people think, well, that's kind of heartless, no, there's a difference. Once you get unconditional, then it just becomes an energy game. It's not about physical at all. And that is one thing that the majority of humanity isn't going to figure out. Well, not in time anyway. Got to hold on to that shit, right? But that's normal. Yeah, okay, well, you can keep your normal. That's your normal, right? Nor means not, and mal, well, that's kind of a sickness, isn't it? So they're kind of working against each other. Neither this nor that, so yeah, you go ahead and be normal, that's okay. Or the nor of sickness, nor, N-O-R, nor of mal. And this is so very difficult to convey to people. The difference, and there's where, again, I'll use the box term of ego versus unconditional. Ego places conditions on things. It needs justifiers. It needs defenders. It needs allies. It needs to defend itself. It needs to go on the offensive, Humpty Dumpty. Right? It needs to attach, which is attack, with the heartstrings and whatnot. I actually did a little something regarding that. Where did I put that? Because I know I wrote it out today. I know I did. I must have wrote it out on a piece of paper. Oh, no, it was a post I put on Facebook regarding that. I think it was Facebook. Yeah, so we're going to have a bit of fun here. It might show up during this, but whatever. Anyway, I'm just looking at a few words like kaleidoscope, calligraphy, free, freedom, well, fairy, right, there you go. That's the heart note of spirit breath into consciousness. And freedom, well, dumb is silent, mute. So that's the spirit, or the heart, with the spirit breath intent in silence. And gosh darn, there it is in that picture. The only place you get there is a neutral. You're blocked everywhere else. Hell, even anger is better than happiness in terms of the fire, because you're not quite as insane with the glee, the hex of the calm, right? G-Lee, right? And the escape clause is clausula rebus Stan Lee. Yeah, that's crazy fun. When you start seeing it, you laugh. And that's, well, of course, the name of God is Je, play. Right? But everyone's too busy working. War kink. Yeah, they're war kings. Yeah. With no patience. So they certainly don't know what Job is, but they certainly know what a just over broke job is. Okay, let's go on this one. You've probably heard of Selene. That would be the moon goddess. So I broke it down. You got Selene, or saline, which is salt water. So that's the emotions, excuse me, without unconditional love. The salt of the earth. Place the sea back in and you have silence. Li, mine, silence. Li, my unconditional consciousness. And that's, for those of you who've been hanging out here for a while, you'll know what I'm talking about. And all of these references I'm making in terms of what Ka is and what say is, and they're in countless shows and countless essays. So just head to my website, kateofgaia.wordpress.com, and read all of it. You'll feel better. That was the whole intent of it, My intent is simply to put a smile on a face. face, which is the heart of creation. All right? Yeah, there's my Agenda 21. Yeah, my AG. Well, that's over. Let's put it to AC, right? End of the duh, right? Agenda 21. So it's truth ending the stupidity. And there's your 777. There'll be many people talking about Agenda 21 in a slightly different context, I think, because, well, they're still reading the literal world, being litter of all. That's all right. Don't worry. You got plenty of time to figure that out. Cosmic reboot coming up. It was interesting also, those that are like hermits, those that go off into seclusion, were known as anchorites, which is a hermit, or hermetic, hermetic. So it's the divine feminine magnetic electric in the law of truth, I see. Or you can, hermetic is hermetic. Right? Got a little tick going on there. Tick-a-tock, tick-tock. The anchor or anchorite, well, I spelled it out like this. Ankh, Egyptian Ankh, A-N-K-H. Then A-U, and that's gold. Right, R-I-T-E, which is spell, cast a spell. Anchorites. And one cannot create with light within. It must be neutral and dark. The fires of emotion must be quelled within to create. So when one is in an emotional state, from a depression to the glee or the hexed calm, right? If you want to start figuring that out, well then just put the K where the G, the hex is, and you have the clay, the key of calm. Okay? Quantum mechanics. I busted a couple of things apart here. Quantum mechanics. Qua, French for what? Okay, phonetics makes watt, W-A-T-T, electrical. Mind. Quant, right? There's the intent that's mind. Watt being electricity, well, that is you, and that is intent of the magnetic electric. And of course, for them, we go to tum, which is also, all vowels you can switch out. Tom, which means twin. You can also quantum, the U makes an oo sound. Tum, flip out the T and the D, and you have doom, dome, right? And then you can end up with dumb, which is, of course, mute and silence. So quantum mechanics, or quantum relates to my silent intent. Merged duality singularity. So it works. It's perfect. But the scientists won't figure that out. They're too busy thinking. Mechanics, which is the M magnetic electric. Ka, mechanics. And there's that Ankh showing up again. There's the Ka, C-A-W, something a crow might. That's why you might want to put your crow that's yours back on, your crown. It's also the Egyptian spirit. And then you've got Khan, K-H-A-N, which, oh, lo and behold, there's another Ankh showing up. And of course, with the Ka, you have crow for cause, and then you have C-A-U-S-E, which is cause. C-A-U can also be cow. You might look into Hathor and the cow that jumped over the moon. And of course, that's most of my Mayan sign, Kawak, C-A-U-A-C, right, in the mirror. So it's the crown that's mine. I see, right, mechanics. What I'll do is, when I get enough notes on stuff, I'll start posting these and give them to Ninja to post so you can see them. It's very difficult without seeing these things to explain them, but you're getting the idea anyway. It's just amazing when you start just sounding things out and then correlating, using all the rules as you break them all. What just suddenly and magically starts appearing, and you start to see how to play instead of work. This isn't work. This is fun. Aries or Aries. Arise or Arez. Interesting. Let's have a look at what res means. Well, res means it's an object or a thing. And that's why you might not want to be a res id ence, or have a res id ence, id ence, or res side ence, reside ence, recite ence, res I dense, res I dense. And it just goes on and on. There's so many choices in here. It's crazy. It's fun. But did I actually... Oh, yeah, here. Any one of these choices via the sound or lack of defining your intentions were ignorant. By the way, ignorance is I hex no as in knowledge mind, or I hex no as in negative mind. So any one of these choices via the sound or lack of defining your intentions where ignorant assumptions remain allows any court to choose via assumption as well. All fair in love and whore. Again, war, you can silence the H in horror, and there it is. I'll get into that one too, because anyone that's still in the system is incestuous. Now, Aries, here we go. Arise, you pronounce it that way, for the ram, or arrest. You might understand what arrest means now. Yeah. Aries love, the god of war love. That's why you're put under arrest, because you love the war mind. Yeah, it just keeps going. Now, what did I put? Catcher in the Rise, the Ka-Ti-Kier in the Rise. Band I started back in 92 was called Ath and Rye. I was chuckling away as I was writing all this stuff and watching all my own threads just start to completely weave together. And yeah, you didn't make one single mistake in your life. I promise you that. You did not. So this is the Catcher in the Rise. Aries, the lamb and the ram. Aries, the god of war. And of course that also correlates with Mars or March. Now the CH can make a cuss sound, so now we have Mark as well. But that is the Mars is ram in the mirror, right? It's the opposite. Mars, you can go Mark, March. You might understand now a bit more about maritime, right? Mark equals horse or whores from Welsh. What's whore's eye time? What did I do there? Whore's eye time. Whore's eye time. I was in a different headspace, but it all made sense at the time. Like I said, here's another one: imprints or I'm prince. Well, that could be print with a T or with a CE, right? I'm prince, which is pre-ense or my before creation or my pre-creation. Princess is one who prints tax. Prince tax. So again, it's the pre-ense ice. I'll give you both equal and opposite. So it's to be my before my before creation in the is. So the princess is again equal and opposite. One is, well, cess is tax. What's money? Well, it's prince tax, princess. I already covered the res thing. I was just doing word notes for my own benefit today. I wasn't actually thinking of totally doing this tonight, but I'm going to do it anyway, see what happens. The true name of, quote, God, unquote, is Je. Can be pronounced Jew, so this might make a bit more sense of the corruption of the word itself. We're not Jews, we're Je, right? That's to play. Je is French for play or game. Ka, magnetic electric, Ka, me. No wonder the West hated the commies so much. Ka, me's. Right? That's the spirit of magnetic electrics. Here's one. Incest. Well, you know what that sound cess means? It means tax. And of course, the lowercase t is crucified. So that's one of the two crosses on each side. The fist fight or carry at the dead cross is the T. So, incest, T, which is in tax crucified. Tax as in money, or are you in gratitude of life in the law of truth? It means both those things. Bet you there's a lot of people out there, and rightly so, based on this breakdown. Never mind what the literals want to think about it. It has a definite negative connotation. And it has a beautiful positive once you break it down. You've got in gratitude. You've got in creation of divine feminine through the law of truth as well. In gratitude of life in the law of truth. Yeah, so when you're in the system, you're back the whore of Babylon, your mother. Oedipus Rex, indeed. Yeah, I'd call that incestuous. And that's the whole thing. These are all allegories, and people, if you're looking at it from a physical viewpoint, you'll never see this shit. Your body's stuck. You're walking around thinking that a meat stick is your god. That's your idol. You don't understand that it's energy. You don't understand. You were so fucking polarized. You're looking at one or the other instead of looking at one and seeing one. No, you'll cast your judgments, and no, by the way, that video with the Nephilim thing, I have, for some loving, born-again Christian, I lost count of the judgmental jabs she was making. There was another one I watched, too, with a video that Michelle Obama is actually trans. Oh yeah, as soon as I saw her hands a while back, I already knew that. Big deal. But by the end of this thing, they're railing off biblical stuff, so I knew there was a polarized Christian perspective again, as taught by their scribes and Pharisees, the true liars, the true deceivers, right? Yeah, big deal. Who cares? I'm not going to look at anything and go, oh, I'm done with that. I go neutral and just check the energies out. And it totally makes sense, by the way. For you guys, well done. Oh, don't worry, I'll keep you kicking and screaming. Here's Anno Domini for you. Check this out. No, as in a negative. In French is to negative. Anno. Or not no. Again, a meaning a negative. And the sound no, K-N-O-W. So that's basically a mute in I. Mutiny. Mutiny of the bounty, indeed. Better take back your ship. I forget who sent me the post regarding kind of a trailer that was done for a new Star Trek thing. The girl that was in it, though, as she was reading out in the trailer, she was quoting the last verse of Invictus. So that, of course, ties me, because that's always had that around me. Invictus is just like, it says it all. Yeah, I am the captain of my soul. But that's what that's from. So if you're watching it, just Google Invictus. Anyway, and then you've got Domini, which you've got Dome, which flip the T out, you Tome, which is book. So we're dealing with a book of life here, or a book of the dead. Dome can be pronounced doom. So you have the T again, which is tomb. Explains rolling away of the stone from the tomb, and that's what we're doing here. Is we've removed the tombstone. Now doom also means judge. If but one shall awaken, we are doomed. And you have dumb, which means muted or silent. We are silenced. So in short, the not know is in the eyes being deafened and the heart blinded. That's what Anno Domini means. Funny that, eh? In short, the not know is in the eyes being deafened and the heart blinded. That's the ears, the hear-T. Hear the law of truth. The true bloods, or the true blue bloods, the ones in neutral, where distinct blue is in the lung region only, where the rest of the body shows black. And that's what I was talking about with that body grid. I'll track down the link for that. I have to go back to the email. But, it was in Technicolor. And as soon as I saw this, of course, I'm listening with my eyes to correlate, Gemini with the lungs, blue, neutral, blue moon, So that's, the blue moon is one who has tamed their emotions. That was one of the songs in American Werewolf in London. What are the odds? Here was another one too, and this one. How many times have I talked about definition or definition? Well, it's deaf in eye shun. Yeah, you're not hearing with your eyes. These things just keep unfolding. So it's the or being deaf in the eye shown, or deaf in eye in the law of truth ion, right? And that's I already went over the Einstein and Newton as well, and it just gets more funner and funner the more you do it. And you're not going to figure this out if you're not going to do it. So I can't help you. I can't help you. Going to Bill Donohue's page, Sermon 18, Galaxy 4555. I've had this for ages. Love this page, and it references the book of IEOU, the Coptic Key, and a few emails I got from D, also because D and I obviously, and I have to say John Curran as well, John Chapman. Walking lockstep. It's pretty fun to watch. Now, this information was supposed to have been given to Jesus by the Coptic Gnostics in Egypt, right? And it's an 8-spoked wheel. The word azozio and the cipher of 4555, which actually is 1, to get 1. And there's the 45, which is 9, 55, which is 10. So there's the consciousness of the 1. These were the names and numbers and seals that Jesus said were needed for ascent to the realm of light. You are now starting to hear the language of light. Finally, with your eyes. And I know some are not quite there, and that's okay. Do not beat yourself up. You just got to spend a little time with yourself. That's all. And you're not going to do it chitter-chattering. You won't do it that way. Because this whole banter back and forth, either by yourself or bantering back and forth with another, is just pure ego monkey chatter. Trying to justify things, trying to, make the ego right in both parties at all. That's the imprinting I talk about. So that's why it's very difficult. And for me, other than being on the air, I'd just rather not talk. I'd just rather not say anything. Just be and do my thing. Keep doing it, and then share it on the air. But it's funny. The 8-spoked wheel is on the front of Bill Donohue's lectern. Yeah, interesting that, eh? Just a coincidence. Now, there was something I wanted to cover here that he's got. And by the way, if you feel the need, hiddenmeanings.com. Send a little love. Bill and Jones, of course, Critical Mass Radio. That's how you're going to help the planet. Don't worry about me. I'm good. Now, the constellation Coma, which Coma means mother and child, right? 4555 is a galaxy in the constellation Coma, which means mother and child, which would complement the biblical story of Mary and Jesus. Of course it would. And there's Virgo. 4555 in Coma is in the zodiacal sign Virgo, would complement the biblical story of the Virgin Mary. And there you have the truth of spirit in creation, Verko, right? Verkao. And I'm taking out the W. That's another one in the Coptic key, by the way. The letter W is in there. I'm going to spend a little time and just really focus on that. The W, well, take it to the singularity and simply make it an O, all of creation, right? It's like I did with water. O water. O-A-T-E-R, O water. The programming says, you look at it, you say odor. No. Well, it is an odor. There's light receptacles in the nose, right? But water removes the W. It takes out the the duality. And I threw that in the old boy name Wilfred, right? Boy, does that work out or what? Oil freed. Yeah. It's not like we haven't been talking about oil and water lately. Yeah. Just want to go down. Yeah. The book of Daniel describes an arm with no body coming into a room and writing on the wall. You guys remember that story. The message that was wrote there was, your kingdom is numbered. Well, got to get a little phonetic on this too, right? Now the word is mean. Oh, look at that. M-E-N-E or M-E-A-N. What is a mean? Well, it's an average. It's to balance. It's the middle. What do we do? Well, yeah, I love this, numbered. I can't even look at words now without them exploding in my head. Where Daniel's experience of the hidden hand. Now look at hand. Take the D out. Or you can leave the Trinity in there as well. It doesn't really matter. Hant or haunt. Yeah, kind of a fun place we're in. And your kingdom being numbered. Numb, consciousness, emotions. Right? Numb, be, red. Well, be, that's Christ consciousness into consciousness, right? The state of being Christ in consciousness, to be, and of course red is emotions. So here's what numbered is. Numb, consciousness, emotions. So it's time to numb the consciousness emotions. Let that sink in for a second. Now here's, you might know this as all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Well, let's have another look at that one phonetically. Break it down. And basically this, king being knowledge hexes, Ken G, all the knowledge hexes, so there's all the kings, horses, Hor says, creations of the Whore of Babylon, and all the knowledge hexes means men couldn't put Humpty together again. And of course, mean is also, not nice. You're being angry. You're being nasty. And the multitude, you probably got the antonyms, homonyms, and synonyms thing in school, but they didn't teach you shit. They didn't teach you jack shit about what those were. Because every word is an antonym. Same sound, different meaning. Right? Opposite meanings. Synonym sounds the same, like cinnamon. Right? Synonyms. And then homonyms. Homonyms spelled the same with two different meanings. And that's what every word is. It's all of these things. So mean, what is the number of your kingdom? Let me see. Love this. I went through this in my own mind. I didn't write it down, but in Daniel 5:24 it goes on. Love this code book. It's friggin' awesome. Then was the part of the hand sent from him, and this writing was written. And this is the writing that was written. Mean, tekel, parsin. This is the interpretation of the thing. Mean, God has numbered your kingdom and finished it. Tekel, you are weighed in the balance and are found wanting. Yeah, interesting. And also that the word mean, from the Greek alphabet, totals up to, well, M is 40, E is 5, N is 50, E is 5, 45, 55. Just a coincidence, though. And of course, I love the way Bill went on to show the coordinates for the tower. What was it? He was there for 20 years and never knew the latitude and longitude of the tower. So he put up a copy of the license from the Federal Aeronautics Administration, who had authority over the towers because of air traffic. And what the latitude was 45, 55. Yeah. Monmouth, Mouth County Airport. Yeah. That's the mouth of consciousness. You. Yeah, it's pretty cool. When you start putting these things together, it just gets fun and funnier and funnier. Or you can keep taking everything seriously and stay in this crazy shit place in your crazy shit mentalities. Because I'm done with it. I am so done. Oh, we got 301. Oh, bingo calling.
58.
Yep, I'm going to mute that out. Excuse me, sorry. Remember, guys, if I'm going to unmute, it's probably a good idea to have things quiet in the background. But I thought that free was neat in that it's the fairy or the fairies. Remember the fairies and the elves? Myself is the cell fa. Cell, battery cell of the heart. And all of this stuff keeps going around. But I also thought it was interesting that fairy or fari worked out to fa'era, which is the heart of Ireland. Isn't that interesting? Faridom, so that's the heart. It's awesome. You'd be amazed at what you can do just sitting around. Grab a pen. Doesn't take long. Like I said, I've spent all day at this, so I can't even begin to explain. But let's just say everything I was doing all added up. Yeah, jump in, guys.
Hey, Kate.
Mm-hmm. That'd be me. That'd be you.
That's me. Mimi. That's the name of my grandmother's aunt, too. Mimi.
Meme?
Wilhelmina,
What is
they called her.
Yeah, what is a meme?
It doesn't say much.
Here, let's just do a little bit of etymology on it then.
He's quiet.
Mm-hmm. The selfish gene. Me. Isn't that funny?
Oh, that. That's Mimi, yeah. Me. My.
Right, and mime. Right, because you can flip out. How about a mime? What is a mime? Well, somebody that's not making a whole lot of noise. Now, that selfish gene is coined from Greek sources, which is mimestai, to imitate. So, see mime, and intended to echo gene. Isn't that interesting? Mime.
Yeah. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, knee.
Yeah, to act without words. The transferred sense, to imitate, right? Again, back to Greek. Or a buffoon who practices gesticulations, from French mime, and directly from Latin mimus, from Greek mimos, imitator, mimic, actor, mime, buffoon. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I see is a bunch of noisy mimes walking around.
Yeah.
It's okay, we're getting it. It takes
a while.
It takes you got to get calm, you got to get neutral. You never see this stuff in any state of emotion at all. You won't.
No, you're gonna get drowned. You're gonna be getting crashed. You're gonna be eating sand.
Mesmerized.
You're gonna be pounded in sand, right, by the waves, right, of those emotions. Oh. Hey, you know what was cool was when you opened up that mic. That's why I jumped in. I was gonna, just kick back for a while, because what you're seeing is awesome, and right, it just gets funnier, doesn't it? You start laughing. You see it. You see that game. But that lady, when you unmuted her, well, what did she say? She said B13.
I think it was 58.
What?
Yeah, 13.
Yeah, 58. Yeah, 5 and 8. Yeah, 13. Christ consciousness.
Yeah.
Well, that was right on cue.
The Trinity of Christ consciousness. Like I said, if you're in the now, you're going to pick up on all these things. And as soon as you understand that everything is perfect and that there are no coincidences, then you start trusting your intuitive and you go, holy shit, I am God. Or you can walk around screaming, hating, spitting, and, clawing at everything and everyone around you. Well, they did this to me, they did that to me, and oh my God. Yeah, well, okay, well, you see, that's the problem with truth. Most people can't handle it. But the only thing they want is their version of it. And the thing is, if you're only looking at one side, well, you're not dealing in truth. You're dealing in a dualized lie, right? You haven't found anything to average it with. And far too often people want to just focus on the negative because it gives the emotions a sense of power. Aggression. Yeah. Go to this chart, the body grid again. Anger is like the total top half of the body is just on fire, like it's lit up. Pride is almost the same, with the arms not quite as bright. There's your the calm one, Leon, Ponce de Leon, the spirit seed that is mine in creation, of the calm that is mine. There's your Leo the lion. Just a coincidence. Happiness and love, or lust rather, they're the ones that'll slaughter you every time. Because the happiness that people talk about is always going to. And again, don't think that I'm saying happiness is bad. It's not. There is all things are good. I'm just showing you the bad. Because I'll tell you, any of these negative emotions can inspire you to positive contrast. And any of the positive emotions can contrast you to negative contrast. And people get caught polarized and feeling one way or the other. And they got to stop doing. Well, no, they don't have to. They can do whatever the fuck they want. You want to do the round trip, knock yourself out, because this game is fucking done. It is done. And it's coming in at me fast and furious constantly. Like, especially today. It was crazy today. So I'm still in a bit of, whoa, what was that?
You get drunk in it, right?
No words.
Back. Yeah, no words. So, and it's the neutral is absolutely.
I mean, the whole point of experience is emotions. Okay? And what's happened is we've let those emotions control us. We lost control of the emotions, where we ended up being embedded in them. And the more embedded you are in emotions, the more solid you become. That's what it means to turn lead into gold by getting rid of that lead or being led by an imprincess or imprint. Well, look at I'm pressed. Are you impressed? Well, then I'm pressed. I'm literally pressed with that imprint. Oh, we got a bunch of noise in the background. Who's that?
Truck.
Oh, that's okay. It's on your end. Anyway, so look at the word impressed. If you're impressed, that means that I'm pressed. I have been imprinted by the prince or princess of another, and that's an ego imprinting virus infection program. It was laid out beautifully in Oblivion.
Yeah. You're right. And how about pride.
Well, pride, as in a crowbar.
You take the P. Yeah. Take the P away, and you're going to go for a ride.
It's just a ride, baby. And better yet, it's just a right. Flip the D out to the T, and it's just a ritual. So, but you got to get your spell casting ability back, and you're not going to get there if you're not in neutral. You got to put that vehicle you're walking around in, the Ve High Call. Yeah, it's calling the high truth. That's what you're doing when you get your V high call stopped. You're being the harvester, not being harvested. The emotions, that's... If you're driving the emotional vehicle, those that want that energy are just vampiring the living shit out of you. And one, you're not aware of it, and two, you're killing yourself spiritually. Because the more emotional you are, the faster you age.
Yeah, you do.
That's it. Age is the hex in between yin and yang. AGE. Funny how that works, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now the G also, there's a single story, small or lowercase g, and a double story, lowercase g.
Yeah.
Looks so you've got your circles as above, so below, right?
Mhm.
So where was I going here?
AKA age, AKA also known as
Aka.
Hey, there was an Bendigo, Shirley, and Squiggy. Those were the three. Wise men, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Just got a message here. They were left on a shelf. There. Okay. There you go. Yeah. Okay.
You're right.
Sorry.
Love. That true love, like you said, it's when you hit that neutral point. You're right. You begin to. You hit that, and it does. It triggers that alchemical process, right? To get past those, to move beyond those emotions, and it literally lights your chest, your heart, your chest, because when I was in my early 20s, that's why I said I'm getting back on track. I got caught up in the game, the literal game, and snapped out of it in the past 3 or 4 years. But and when because that's what happens is I completely detached, and just had so it was just this smile, and literally I don't know when it happened. I just noticed it later on. But when that alchemical transmutation there, you move beyond those emotions in my chest. Literally, I could feel it, like you said, the air. It was warmth, and I got like a flower over my heart, literally. And it is there's that magic that goes on. It's like it looks like, I don't know what it is, but it's like, and it's red. It's got like 3 little petals, and
yep.
And like you said, yeah, that's where because you're feeling that the joy, and that's what I guess that's what we're doing is reaching that point, because that's the only thing that's going to terraform this anywhere we go in this our journey,
Well, again, it's just about slowing down enough to have a look at the words,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, step into my parlor, said the spider to the fly, right? I also looked at, I mentioned earlier about Michelle Obama. There's your modus operandi. Barack Obama, which is Christ conscious in the creation. Look at the allegory. Oh, no, but you'll get all caught up in the fact that, he's an evil president. No, yeah, you see what I mean? I'm just looking at the energies and seeing how they're playing. They're playing out the same way everywhere. It's the same thing. And when you hear it phonetically with your eyes, you see a whole different world. That's the language of light. Here, let me share that. This is the 2 cards I drew were the language of light and the resolution of duality, right? And isn't it interesting that just on the page next to language of light is shadow, and the symbol for the shadow is a circle with a vertical line, which of course is the mirror D, the mirror trinity, delta, right? Remember the theta, which is the horizontal line in the circle, which is this, God in gratitude, right? So there's your bullseye again, but it's interesting that the vertical is the shadow, and that's exactly what the D, you have to do to the capital D to make it the shadow of itself, right? It's just a coincidence. But anyway, here's the language of light. The qualities are one-pointed focus, a gateway, direct access, sound and light transmissions, devotion, sound and light healer, activation of the light body, transcendent consciousness, and feelings as divine access points, right? Yeah, that resonates. And what we're talking about here is the language of light. More so lately than ever. Now, this lens heralds your approach to an interdimensional gateway. Be watchful. You think I'm not? Anyway, the language of light, the energy of your divine self, is assisting you in the crafting of your light body. And before I go on here, let me just share this. You see, the more unreal this literal world gets, the more real reality becomes. So for me, the transcending out of this reality is all about that, and that's your. I just got a sneaky suspicion that hit me today that is the where you literally transcend out of the reality, right? Where this reality of the physical meat stick, emotional, let's go kill each other world. Well, it totally doesn't make sense anyway. But the more I see in the language of light, it's a completely different. I hate using the word vibration, but it's a completely different frequency.
Well, yeah, it's a different, that level of the frequency that ends, that trance, that mind control ends, and that's when
trance ends, right? You're out of the trance of the literal. So, by the way, everybody, keep with your emotional, I'm going to get you, I fucking hate you, need to be angry and fearful and possessive and, lustful and loathing and jealous and envious and drama, Marsha. Please keep doing that, and you're in the trance. That's the emotional trance. Thank you for bringing that word back the way you did, Mike. That was perfect. It always is. So I'll continue on here for the language of light. Drawing this card indicates that you would be served in bringing your mind into one-pointed focus of awareness to receive these gifts. Woo! It's been Christmas like every minute. Remain in a devotional state of communion to receive potent transmission of these energies. Game on, I'm there. Trust and develop this sacred language. Well, definitely it's the truest. Well, the U makes the oo sound, truest. And also it's the truth of the crucifixion and what's a truth? Absolute peace in the law of truth. So trust and develop this sacred language. It is encoded in your feelings. Yeah, because you can't think this shit, you feel it, right? All feelings, and that's why the emotions will get in the way. Because if you're feeling everything but what the neutral state, and just as a neutral observer is letting you, you're blind. Your emotions are blinding you. And, been there, done that, and I, at that point, would call myself an absolute fucking idiot. Moron, retard. Because I was there. I know what it feels like. Right?
Yep. Me too.
You will, all feelings are access points to the divine. You will know when you have been touched by this abstract language, when you have a sudden sense of union, transcendence, the transcend mind, or expanded perception. Yeah, I think we experience that a fair bit at this table. Yeah, I think so. Learn to use your feelings as your spiritual spring mechanism. Well, I'll tell you, if you haven't got control of them, don't be putting that little bastard at the wheel, run you into the wall every time. Your cab fare is going to ride up on you. Let your heart be your compass. Allow this ancient mode of communication to spark memories of your purpose and destiny. Symbols act as a means for decoding this abstract language. Yeah, do you think it's abstract? And remember, symbols, if you're staring at them and constantly, that's Illuminati, that's where you spell it Cymbals, or the the spirit of Baal, right? There's your time to bail your boat out. Symbols, well, crash cymbal, ride cymbal, hi-hats. Yeah, these aren't coincidences. They're just cool names, though, Kate. Yeah. How do you think they came to be? I'm just showing you how they came to be. But don't get blinded, deafened. Don't let your eyes get deafened by the symbols, the crash symbol especially. Symbols act as a means for decoding this abstract language. You do not have to understand, in quotes, by the way, symbols. Their meaning affects you on a supraconscious level that permeates all aspects of your being. Rather than relying on meanings fixed in memory, that's that vice of time, gripped in time, victim, be receptive to your immediate responses to symbols and metaphors, allegories, anagogics. Let them ignite your own mythic coding, acting as a rapid transit between realities. So there's your take home, boys and girls. Colors are also part of this language. Notice and work with the colors that strongly attract or repel you. Remember, you are the knower, K-N-O-W-E-R, right? And the nowhere, right? Fly into the pure state of consciousness where there are no words. Open to receive your native tongue, the galactic language of light. Feel the pulse of reunion, lovingly tendered as a gift of grace. So there's the one card that got pulled. Here's the other one. Resolution of duality. And this exactly mirrors the language of light. Resolution of duality is resolving the perception of duality, mass consciousness, personal integration of polarity, cooperative alliances, reframing of language that separates and limits. So I think we're doing a pretty good job of, building a new house, reframing a new house of language, because we're seeing it. Okay? Now is the time for you to confront directly the illusion of separation and duality. Pizza cake. Receiving this lens asks you to resolve your separate sense of identity. Bring awareness to the way you hold duality pairs such as good and bad, right and wrong, them and us. Oh my God, that's so funny. Such pairs support the very framework of our presently transforming third-dimensional reality. Duality is simply a perception. duality pairs, such as right and wrong, exist simply as value judgments and cultural definitions. In the collective trance, you have probably been taught to understand duality from the position of separation. Duality is a transformational playing field that is maintained only by the belief systems held in mass consciousness, or I'd call it mass psychosis, but there you go. As you personally integrate your inner polarities and transmute your limiting beliefs, your reality transforms. So that being said, it's as simple as once you balance out your emotions, can see the blessing in what you would call a curse and the curse in what you would see as a blessing, you'll see them both as the same thing. When enough personal realities are transformed, collective reality also shifts, revealing a greater reality of inseparable unity. Since we are literally transforming reality with the power of our thoughts, it is essential that we become aware of language that separates and limits so that it can be reframed into language that unifies. In receiving this lens, you are being challenged to work with your belief systems and thoughts to see where they appear to limit you. Your very complexity and rigidity invite new processes that open you to simplicity, expansion, and change. You will feel this energy working in any area of your life that has become too complicated or inflexible. Since your own personal issues are connected to mass consciousness, as you transform, you contribute to the upliftment of the whole collective. You are the resolution of duality, and that's one of the reasons why I confront the fears head on. The ones that I can handle, because the ones that I can handle transmutes that same energy for all. But then when you're thinking in a singular me, fucking gimme mind state, legal heads, and thinking that people you need to fight, all that's doing is creating energy to separate. So keep at it. Don't worry. You'll get home. Won't be this trip. Enjoy your meat stick drop that you forgot about the last time. Wonder how you're going to go this time. Probably the same as last. So here's another deja vu moment for you. Pay attention. The language of light is in the phoenix rising from the ashes. The open-ended strand of DNA that shuts off the 8 so you don't get eaten again. Self-consumed. Yeah. Alien 8 dead. Isn't that funny? A lean? Well, what's a lean? Well, that's something someone that is looking for a savior wants to do. Can I lean on you? Lean on me. Yeah, well, I've given you all pillars that you need. They're all on my website. I talk about these pillars every single night. So, yeah, you can lean. Absolutely. Oh, but lean on me? No. No, sorry, you can't do that. And what's a lien? Well, it's a debt. Lien on magnetic electric? A debt on magnetic electric? Yes, of course it is. If you're looking outside of yourself, looking for a personal savior to rescue you. Object, thing, put you back on stage. Here's your cue, thing. There's the atoms, fa, mi, li. Oh, let me see. Fa, heart, magnetic electric, calm. Yeah, it works there too.
I got to think of this other word, but it's his salvation outside, whether it's a alien, ascended master, Jesus, Buddha, the king, the guru, just some salvation outside of ourselves. It's his program, basically.
Yeah.
There's people who fulfilled the so-called role of it, but it's an outward salvation program.
Yeah, if you're not playing the game, then you are prey in the game. Switch the left and the right, the L and the R. If you're not playing the game, you're prey in the game.
And that is true. And if you're really and if you're praying in these buildings, you're prey.
Mm-hmm. Funny, huh? So yeah, you've got to be got to be a game. A spirit, kami, a spirit of play in the magnetic electric. It's just a ride. It's just a game.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. The true, let's say, creator source wants you to play. He doesn't want you to pray. It's only this when we talk about the synthetic, we talk about a false light or a god, any god that demands obedience, demands your worship. Think twice.
Exactly.
Hey, reverse play, and it's Yelp. Yelp, he wants us to bark. Woof.
Well, no, Yelp is not a happy bark. A Yelp is one of pain, right? So the mirror of playing is you're going to get your ass whooped. Yelp all day long.
Well, I'll convert it into a good play, though.
Now let's flip the P back to its original state, then row instead of the hex. So you have Yeller. Now you might understand what old Yeller is all about, and why the true center is yellow.
You can look that up.
Yeah, you know. What were the latest ones that I just went through and watched to decode? Oh, I watched The Hulk. What a great movie to decode. What was the other one? Stardust. Stardust is awesome. Watch Stardust in this new mind that you're walking around with your eyes that can hear things, and you'll be blown away. I don't know how many times I've seen that movie, but it gets better, and the more of this language of light unfolds, the better it gets. It's just crazy fun. Crazy fun. You know. Where else was I going to go with this?
Okay, I was just thinking of the color green, because you just brought up yellow, and I was thinking, well, as we were removing the G or replacing it with another letter, and then I just thought about all the colors in general. And have we gone over the colors yet? Broken them down?
Well, yeah, I take the hex out of green by saying ver, truth.
Yes, exactly.
In the law of truth. Right? Yeah. So this is why it's so critically important to look at things from multiple perspectives. And like I said, there is only one thing on this planet that all languages have in common, and it's sound. Tongue pledges.
Hey, I just thought too, make game, reverse that, and you can turn the G into a K, and we make.
Well, yeah, that's exactly. And well, a mage is a sorcerer. Put the K in, the sorcerer becomes the make, or the ma-key, the magnetic electric cosp in consciousness.
The maker.
That's what the maker is, right? You're it.
We're it.
And I don't know how long it's going to be. Time short. I don't know about you guys. You feeling this? Time short.
Absolutely.
This puppy's crumbling down quick, you know. I wouldn't want to be the one that's still caught in an emotional bind. Those are the bindings of Orion, okay, versus the sweet nectars of the Pleiades. Oh, Pleiades, the playing creations. There's a difference. Orion will bind you in emotion. That's why he's a hunter, you know, and that hunter, all that Orion hunter wants to do is bed the sisters of Pleiades, the seven sisters, the seven seas, right? Well, sorry, buddy, you're not getting laid this time. And what's Orion? Well, he's a hunter. He's walking around with a club, right? So, I don't know about you. It's pretty clear to me, right? That looks like a little bit of conflict. Now, Ophiuchus, he's got the tail of the serpent in his hand and the head of the serpent under his foot. That's getting the serpent is the emotions, and you got to short circuit that. See, and I really want to make this clear: emotions are both good and evil. Are they controlling you, or are you controlling them? There's your double cross. If they're controlling you, then cross back to you controlling them. How many fights would break out in a bar if everyone was in control of their emotions? Not a one. I don't know about you, but how many fights or arguments have you ever witnessed that didn't involve emotions out of control? How many times have you said something to someone meaning something exactly the opposite as to how they took it? And then an argument ensued. Well, see, that's because the ego, emotional state, caught in a moment of time, a victim, has already pre-assumed and pre-assessed everything according to what was said or asked of them from that stuck in the grip of time emotional state. You cannot rationalize. And the longer you try to rationalize with an individual like that, you've all experienced this, all it is it ends up being they're going to justify their position as to why they couldn't accept what you were telling them as truth.
Hey, how much fun do you think it was probably us, right, at another point in time? That's what we're just, coming back, pulling them cells or using the alchemy and converting our consciousness back to that point, and we're probably the ones that set up this language.
Well, no, that's the thing, right?
Yeah. If it had a blast at doing it, well, we're going to really screw everybody up, But,
well, that's the duality position of them and us, right? I don't separate them and us.
I know what you're saying.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's going to be the hardest one, I think, for most. See, that's an ego conflict. And thank you for pointing this out. That is an ego conflict. If you have a them and us, or a you and me, then you're polarized. You're not seeing the singularity nature of creation. And don't worry, you'll get a bunch more lifetimes to figure it out. Yeah. I've got a whole series of deja vu shows, deja vu moments where, are you going to listen this time? Or are you going to let your emotions kill you? Because that's what they're doing. That's what makes people age, emotions. They're not being neutralized. Experience it. If something makes you sad, experience it and go, oh, that was neat. And you see the contrast to show you the bliss you've had, right? And if you feel bliss, enjoy it. And then look at the contrast of it being from where that high point to the low point, and you can find your middle again. There's nothing wrong with emotions as long as you have grips on them. Like E is consciousness, okay? Mote, to cast a spell. That's the modus operandi of the law of truth in consciousness. E, mote, ions. That's 10, goddess. 1001, right? The IOI that is mine, infinitely.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends on whether you have a grip on them or they have a grip on you. Are you grabbing the serpent by the tail with its head underfoot? Hang on, with its head underfoot. Or are you walking around with a fucking club trying to bed the seven sisters? It's laid out in the stars right there for you to see. It's laid out in everything. Well, I'll tell you, there's only one type of being here, that is me, that will not get this, and that's okay. I love me enough to say, party. Enjoy the bet you're making, the bed you're making, because you're going to lie in it, and literally, you're going to lay down in it, and it's going to be a lie. Right? That's what an all-I or an al-I is.
Right. Yeah. And that's what we're seeing, the singularity in it, in the words, the language, and pulling it out of thin air, you can say, right? I mean, and then it just pops up, shows up, and like you said, the only way to get there is to see with your eyes, and I mean, see with your ears and hear with your eyes, and when you start seeing it, it's like you said, you have those aha moments, like you were reading Daniel, and seeing that, and Bill, that was pretty cool. When Bill, I was like, wow, you know, when he did the what was it, the coordinates for the tower? Unreal. He must have had a big time aha moment.
Well, again, those are the mini ahas, bud. What we're having right now are the major ahas, because we know there are. I mean, coincidence. What a coincidence. Oh, and then you get to the point where there are none.
Right. Earthquakes. Absolutely. Yeah. It's like,
Every aha epiphany moment becomes that volcano exploding. And those stuck in their emotions will never experience it, and it is pure bliss. Because you know what you get out of it? You finally see the way out. You finally see the end. You finally see I've had enough, and oh, look, I get out of here. So stay in your mortal, stuck in the Orion. That's why the churches have the Orion Nebula all over their ceilings. It's in the Sistine Chapel. It's on the album cover of Stairway to Heaven. It's you know, it's in all the artwork, and you can see the same thing laid out with David LaPointe's work in the Primer Fields. You'll see the burn marks that look again, and they're all domes. What is a dome? Well, it's a dome. It's a silent. And while everyone's going to their meat stick churches and stuck in their meat stick emotions, they're going to be meat stick recycled. That's the again, spirit cold, harvested. You're going to get harvested again. So enjoy that. But I'll tell you, even with the extra knowledge you have from this round, you've put into some power. You're coming back with a little less battery effort. So although you'll have more knowing, you'll have less energy to push forward. There's Orion's double-edged sword for you. Right? And that's okay, don't worry. You keep going down and down and down. Universe needs material to make planets and shit with, so again, energy it can never be destroyed. It just changes from one form to another. So can you imagine having consciousness like a rock? Which they do. They have consciousness. Just sitting there? Well, it gives you plenty of time to meditate, that's for sure. And the only excitement you get is somebody one day, after you sat there for about 10,000 years, comes along and picks you up and throws you into the water after you spent the last 20,000 years trying to get ashore. Woo! Sounds like a fun game to me. Not. Just saying.
When you were speaking at the beginning, I mean, it was beautiful, and I was having like a bunch of downloads right along with you, and I couldn't keep up. I wrote a couple of things down. I don't even know where they are. I got notes everywhere. I still haven't. There's no big deal.
Do you know what? Do you know why? It is a big deal. Do you know why the Minotaur or the Minotaur is on Crete? It's just a coincidence.
On what?
I'm gonna on the island of Crete. Well, Crete. Take the T, flip it to the D. Creed. Oh, let's take that K. You might have assumed a C there for Creed. Don't assume anything with me. I typically, for the Ka sound, I go straight to the K. So that's a special K. I stay there. So now put X back in, and what have you got? Greed. So you move out of the hex. And what was Moses picked out from between? The reeds, right? The modus operandi of creation of divine feminine. Mo, say, as, Moses. Another coincidence, right? And what is a reed? Well, it's a writing instrument, right? That's what they used to write with in Egypt, reeds. And, of course, a reed is also something you put in a woodwind instrument, right? So it vibrates. That's the connection between the vibration of music and the writing instrument. That's why they call them writing instruments. You're the one putting all the energy into it, whether you're, playing an oboe or signing a death contract called a death pledge, mortgage, or anything, right? So the Minotaur, what is the Minotaur? Well, it's a man with the head of a bull. That will be your papal bull. That will be your the bull of Taurus. Minotaur. Well,
when you point that out to like the average person that's stuck on the literal, so you're paying a mortgage at morgue. What's a morgue? You know what I'm saying? It's like it is completely,
Well, gage being pledged, G-A-G-E. Well, there's the hexage, or the hex of A and the hex of E. So it's a complete hex. That's why you make no pledges. You make no promises. You make, it was in Mary Poppins the other day. I watched it. Promises are like a pie crust, easily made and easily broken. So don't do it. You don't need to. When you get into the right state of mind, you see, the thing is, I don't need to promise to do anything. I'll do it. If I say I'm going to do it, I'll do it. I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. Unfortunately, on this planet, most people can't accept that because they're so used to being lied to. So they're so used to accepting lies and creating the mistrust outside of themselves, they completely destroy the trust within themselves. And that's where the emotions get out of control. So I'll tell you, the one that cannot trust another is themselves untrustworthy. That's why I trust all.
Yeah.
And,
like you said. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say I trust all, knowing full well that the vast majority are going to betray that in one way or another, and that's okay. It's not going to take away my ability to trust. Let's just say I trust you enough to fuck me over. Thank you, and you will, or you won't. It depends on your choice. It also depends on your level of trusting another. So I'll stay there. It's all good.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it. Yeah, I should probably do a shout out. I'm not sure how much I'm going to go into the rollover tonight, but I think we're on a decent roll here. We got about 14 minutes until we roll over, guys. So if anybody does want to jump in, you can call in at 614-667-2401. And of course, you can Skype in from the Blog Talk Radio page. Just hit the Skype button and follow the bouncing ball. Bring you here. Once on the board, hit 1 on your dial pad or open the dial Skype and hit 1 there. And that lets me know that you want to jump in the chat here. Wish you would. And great big thank you to, look at that, PG. Let's make it right. Let's make it Roti. Wrote. So look at that. It's spirit breath into creation in the law of truth of consciousness. That works better. Paul Giovanni in the crew at criticalmassradio.co.uk for this table. And I would urge, if you guys love this table, flow towards it. Not me. I'm good. It's your table. It's your baby.
Absolutely.
I'm doing my bit to keep it afloat, and you guys can do yours, right? I trust the universe. I don't have to rely on on anything. And, while this might sound cold and heartless, I'm just going to keep stating the facts here, guys. Again, I'm not here to be anybody's friend, because that just buys into the ego bullshit. I love you too much to do that. But I'll tell you, if you're existing on an outside source, be it multi-level marketing checks or some sort of government check, especially if you're fully capable of doing things, those that aren't, well, don't worry. We got you. Because that's an alien 8 dead, right? that's being eaten and dead. That's what you're doing to yourself in consciousness. So, I wouldn't do that. Whatever you do is yours, right? It's, again, all that shows is a lack of trust in the universe. The other side of that coin is if you're actually doing that and using it to take this horse system down, well, that's called transmutation. And I know a few people that are doing that. I also know many that aren't. So there you go. 704. Who is this again?
Fabian.
Fabian. There you go. It's new numbers. I take a little bit to get used to. How are you doing tonight, my friend?
Good, man. I wanted to relay an email to you that I got not too long ago. It's very short. It says, Dear Fabian, thank you for your email. My apologies for the delay in responding. I posted an announcement of a release of our first book, whatever that is. I'm sure he'll go into that, but I hope you'll find it worth acquiring. I also have returned home and will begin to search for the radio program that you would like me to look into on Blog Talk for the suggestion. And he wrote, thank you very much for your kind words, Robert Morning Sky.
Oh, nice, Robert. I love Robert so much.
Yeah. I was sharing that with you.
It's funny. I came across Robert about a week before he decided to go off the internet, and I was really hoping at that time to get him on a radio. I think I was on TNS at the time. Anyway, to get him on a radio show with me, and then he put up the notices shortly after his lady love transcended. And yeah, so that's beautiful. Thank you for that. That's beautiful.
No problem. Okay.
You know the world's changing when, right?
Yep. When the great Robert Morning Sky, just having you two and Mike and everybody, it would be incredible to just listen to you all kind of share.
Well, I'll tell you, a lot of the Egyptian spirit thing and a lot of that stuff came from the Terra Papers too. Like, this is going back a long time, So these things were, rattling around on my RAM the longest time, and there was a lot of phonics connections I made with his work. Whether he realized it, which he did the Rockoff Pharaohs, which is the Rockefellers, and the Roz Shields, the Rothschilds. So that was probably one of the main triggers that got me moving. So let me include Robert Morning Sky and all of the masters. I talk about them fairly regular.
Yeah, you do.
So I think people would assume that anyway.
He's fascinating to watch on YouTube. He's fascinating to watch on YouTube, but my latest gripe is there aren't enough videos of you on YouTube speaking, and we need more of those.
I know. I want to work on doing videos, so got to get situated for that. So, yeah, I've got a video camera. I can head to my storage unit, get my tripod, and go set up a whiteboard somewhere and just go crazy for a couple hours on a whiteboard and get into download mode and play. So that, that's the thing. When I did a few presentations, when I'm working with whiteboards, I work in real time, so it's like everything's just puking at that time. So I'm able to show and tell as I go, and it's I know it has profound, because it was profound for me. It has profound effects on people and how they start seeing the language of light versus being deafened, blinded by the symbols. Their eyes are deafened by
That's
the symbols.
That's new territory too. You know, it's like I know exactly what you're saying, Kate. You know, doing what we're doing here, and that's another ball game. You know?
Okay, yeah, absolutely. I just want to finish off the Minotaur and greed. Okay, so the man beast is the one that has the greed. The one that cuts the head off the bull, like Theseus, killing the Minotaur, decapitating the bull. That's the war within. That's the labyrinth, the maze. Children of the corn, children of the maze, that we go through. And the nice thing about it is, as soon as you cut the head off the bull, well, don't worry, the water footprints are there, and that's exactly how Theseus, well, in the movie Immortals was just great. Another great, that's just priceless, that one. After he decapitates the Minotaur, he walks out following the footsteps of the Minotaur that were wet. So that's following the waters of truth, home, right, back to the light. And the light is you. You are the light source. And it has to come from the neutral dark with the blue moon, the blue emotions that's when you have the blue consciousness mote ions. And I got to tell you, look at this picture, it's blue at the lungs. So that's what a blue blood is. That's a blue blood. Right? So, and that's, look at that. That's the air that blew across your heart. So that's the air, right. And the one who receives, the heir to the throne, right? Throne is something you do with a ball, right? So you're the heir to what you're throwing out. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah. So yeah. What you're saying too is the blue blood is basically getting that, transmuting that into air. Well, rather than is bringing that into your lungs too. You're
transmuting out of the physical. That's the emotional, out of control state, into the spiritual. Got a grip on that, neutral. And when you get neutral, that's when every breath is creation itself. That's the ebb and flow of creation. So when you are in that state, the thoughts you have within, the silence within, that's what you are creating. So I will ask anybody that's caught in any conflict, what is it you are creating? Happy times? Don't think so. But you'll certainly create a contrast for happy times. I'm just not into contracts. Contrasts? Yeah. And here it's all about contrast. C can sound like an S. Can sound like a K.
Yeah.
Can sound like an F. Can sound like a PH. Oh yeah. Everything's... This is how you find the language of light, by breaking all the rules that they program so deeply into you in public school, insisting your ABCs sounded that way instead of abase. Abacus, abacus, absence, B, Christ consciousness, Q. Yeah, you better know your ABCs, but you better know what the sound means, not the spelling. And that's what it boils down to. What you're doing is defining the sound, not the spelling. That's the magic part. So I think we got Janet on. Did we have Janet?
Hi,
who's on
everyone.
5? There you are.
Yeah,
damn it, Janet. I love you.
Damn it, I'm here. Anyway,
Rocky Horror, baby.
Wherever you are in
Get
the world,
your toast
I
out,
wish
baby.
you the best. Yeah. I'm calming down. I'm so grateful to be at the table. So you guys are beautiful, just drinking this in. It's really great.
Oh. I like her. Don't you love her laugh? You laugh. You get a good laugh.
Oh, so do you guys. Yep.
It's an
my
honest
highlight
one.
of the day.
It is. Yep.
Good.
That's cool.
I feel that from all of you. Mirror, mirror.
Right on. Yeah, I just had a little text from Jane on Skype, so let me put her in the lighthouse just so... there we go. Let's see if I got it. Yep. Anyway, yeah, so there's a link she just sent. So she's obviously listening. The Bambara glyphs are biased but arguably more accurate interpretations. So I'll check that out and see what other keys I get handed tonight. It's all that matters now is all the keys, right? And I think, as you guys have already known, over the last, probably last 3 weeks or more, we've really been honing in on this. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to ask you guys, are you starting to see a whole lot more magic more often?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. It just mean all that tells me is I'm doing my job, and I need to know that I'm doing that. So that's smashing. That's my job, and I just that was my deal with my universe. Got 90 seconds till we roll out of here, guys. So if you want to listen further and the rollover, you have to call 661-467-2401, or don't worry, you can wait for the file, depending on how long we go here, but you can download the file right after we go off the air, or the show rather. And of course, Giuseppe, Lightworkers Media, he puts up all the YouTube videos within a day, maximum 2 days. Beautiful work, and thank you. I can't thank you guys enough for the efforts that you're doing. Even like Fabian, getting that email. You see, these are the things that in knowing that I am part of all, there is also an incredible feeling of loneliness at the same time. Mm-hmm. Wondering, are others getting this? Are they seeing it? And when I know they're seeing it, you have no idea the peace and the calm and the gratitude that washes over me. And I'm doing that completely selfishly too, right? So it's a selfless, selfish thing. So in doing the selfless, you get to be selfish with these things, and vice versa. This is why when you are truly, I've heard lots of people say, well, I serve the all. No, you don't, because you're the first one that you're thinking of. Me, I was that. This is why I know it, because I was. Anyone that can claim anything in the meat stick realm, I assure you, I've done it. Okay? Mm-hmm. I'm good. I've done it. So I have the contrast. I'm not speaking from, I'm assuming, or I'm, it's all conjecture. No. I say something is idiotic and retarded, it's because I've fucking done it before you.
And you always admit it. You tell everything, so that's pure. I
see. I made my deal. Stand in truth. My intention is pure.
Hey, you know what I saw? I'll say it. Absolutely, it is. And it wasn't last night. The night before, I was outside, and I'm at that 0 point, because I can feel that blue blood, that energy, beginning to do its alchemy, its work within, right? So, and I'm outside, and right over the top of the trees, I could literally see. It was like the sun was shining. I could see rays, and they were in the direction of north Canada, up that way. So I'm thinking, because I'm on the East Coast, so, America, and so, and I'm looking, and there was like 4, 5, 6 of them. I don't know, it's right around there, but it literally looked, the clouds were there, and there's it's not a town. It's just that one house, and it's all woods. So that goes back, I don't know, right up for, probably 20 or 30 miles. And I could see them, and I'm like, wow, and so it was just seeing that. That's what it was just kind of the the universe was saying, yeah, things are going right. Just right along, just go with the flow. But it was really, really cool because I could see the rays, and there was no sun. It's nighttime. It's probably about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
But yeah, it was pretty cool. So anyways.
No, I'm just enjoying sitting back here, guys. Keeping it low key and not being low key. No, high key. Low key can take a high key because we all have that ability, Just opening up a few more lines here. I got Elvira. I've got Wichi and area code 956. Not familiar with that one.
Hello.
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 Hello. Let's just say hello. Morning.
Everybody
morning.
Hello.
Morning. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Hi.
Hey, Sonita.
Hi.
Hello.
I hope everybody's great tonight.
Yeah, well, hang on, all you regulars. I got a newbie here I want to hear from. 956?
Hey, Katie, it's Manny Sunny-san. Just tuning in. Great show. Thanks for having everybody around.
Isn't that great? And who is it again?
Manny Sunny-san.
Oh, Manny, how are you?
Hey, Katie. I've been a fan.
Awesome. I haven't heard from you in ages. Well, I hear from you on Facebook and stuff, but in voice is invoice, in the eyes of creation, right? See, that's what an invoice is. Go ahead, fill out your invoices because that's what you're doing. Invoice, the eyes, there's your other ears. Say, create. Fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it a bill or a bile? Oh, I would call it a bile, but that's just me. Silly little phoenix.
Oh.
You might know.
Yeah, I'll be back in a minute.
No worries. Phoenix, F-E-E. Well, we all know what fees are. Nix, well, to end, to cut.
Okay.
It's like I remember in the movie, what was it? Top Secret. It's funny as hell. What a great pair. I got to watch that again with these eyes on. Holy shit, that'll be even funnier. But there's one scene where he's sitting across from. It was Val Kilmer played the lead role in it. It's such a spoofy, campy, absolutely hilarious movie. He's sitting in the train across from the girl. I do have to watch it again because I want to remember. I want to see what their names are. But anyway, she goes through this beautiful explanation of what her name was and how she got her name and everything else. And so she looks over across the table on the train and says, "So Nick, how did you get your name?" And I said, "Oh, my dad was shaving." That's how campy it is, right? Anyway.
Oh, man.
Anyway, the movie's called Top Secret. If you get a chance to grab it.
Cool.
I thought it was cute. It'll be even funnier now. And I don't know about how many movies you've ever seen where they do 3-stop frame shots, like movie shots, for one guy spitting at another across the room. Camera angle shot of Nick spitting, next shot of it going through the air, next shot it's still going through the air, next shot it hits the German soldier. The German soldier takes his helmet off and the straps are still on the side of his face. That kind of movie it is. It's just, I'll tell you better be very alert because there are so many hidden jokes, which I think would probably be fun for all you phoenixes out there.
So what did you think of seeing Time Bandits again?
Oh, it was well. That's what the scene at the end there, where the dwarves were swinging across from the cages. That's what I tied in a whole bunch of stuff with that. That's where I saw the DNA, like in its glory, the Coptic key. It just hit just the way it happened, and like the British pound note, the old notes that had the looping, constantly looping back, forth, left to right, and a loop, left, loop, right, loop, left, loop. So, and then of course that same pattern is on a bowl at the Coral Castle, and going up, going down. Emotions will take you down.
What do you think about that scene at the end? He goes back. We'll talk about what happened with the little guys after. They're so great.
Yeah.
Didn't they? But at the end, he goes back home. He sees his, I guess it was his aunt and uncle or something. I'm not even sure if it was, or his parents. But then it all twisted at the end. Did you see it? It went all dark again. I thought the scene at the end where, quote, God, unquote, showed up and started explaining reality. Yeah.
When you have the ears and eyes, you're listening and seeing completely different, and it where someone would be entertained in a movie and it's like, oh, that's neat. They have it's all literal, right? When you're hearing it anagogic, it's like, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. It's so funny. It really is.
I mean, wasn't that just so great how when they were searching for it, when they first dropped into his bedroom?
Oh, yeah.
And they're looking for the way out, and then they start pushing on his wall, and the wall just starts moving.
Yep.
And they just push harder, and they just run, and it's just
this big long tunnel that ends up they fall into nothing. Yeah, a great little flick. Again, for me, I have a very hard time following movies literally because I'm watching the energies, so I have to watch them a few times. Watch it at least once literally so I can talk about it literally. But I'm constantly looking for the quad, the positive, negative, masculine, and feminine, right? So. Not everybody at once now.
I like this aspect how they had that map, and it was, again, showing us that everything is, when they went so-called back in history, it wasn't like going back in history. It was, it's just over there. You know what I mean? That's taking place over there. And it's just really that whole linear time frame, it just blows at the shard.
It's happening in you. What you're seeing in the world is what you're seeing in you. That's why I know my own personal reality within is being created without. And when people see things as separate from themselves, like it's way over there, and that's somebody way over there, and somebody else way over there, you are so far away from what is really going on here.
It shows, and this is what they're saying, it's showing how, in a way, all those different points were all connected. Wow, it just reminds me of this shared dream in terms of we can imagine ourselves, say, running a race or driving somewhere, and in one perspective, you never moved from the original spot you were in. It's like all of this is going around you, and you're basically walking in the same spot. And it's nice for me to look at different perspectives like this because it helps to break down old paradigms that are kind of rigid, that don't have this flexibility. So this is some ways to flex up the mind.
Yeah, well, here's a question for all of you. How many times have you found yourself teetering between worlds where you're kind of, am I sane? Where you're really questioning your center. And I experience that fairly regular, so that's why I know I'm walking the straight and narrow. That's the tightrope, right? But I'm going to ask you guys, like, do you find yourself doing that, especially when you're, say, out with lots of people around, or with people you're talking to? Do you find that at all?
It's if they see the synchronicities that I see, then I know that I'm not insane, sort of like you, because when you speak, and Mike and everybody else, and Alvita and everyone, you all have synchronicities that I relate to all the time.
Yeah.
And I think everybody relates to those synchronicities.
Yeah. See, you're speaking the language of light right there. It's when you are connecting all things, like all of us, as one in your reality to see where everything ties together within you. And the more you see this, the more pristinely beautiful it gets.
Yes, I totally agree. I see me and everybody now.
Isn't that great?
Yes. No matter how bad they think they are, or, whatever.
And here's the thing too, and just a mental note for all of you: if you encounter, and this applies to positive or negative, but if you, say you're dealing with someone that's negative, that's not your mirror. That's a contrast. You stay neutral, and that's the contrast, so you can look at yourself of where you were.
Exactly. You can measure yourself by that.
The ego will say, well, that's because you're still there and you have that to resolve. And I said, no, if I can see the contrast, it's resolved. Because that's not how I want to be. So I've got it resolved. So that's why anything that's thrown at me, negative or positive, everything goes through me, transmutes through me. And like anything negative, I'll kill. Anything positive, I flow it. Well, I'll tell you, anything negative with negative intent comes through me, and I just mirror it right back. And you see, that's the thing. Do you guys remember the movie Unforgiven? Well, for the concept of the unforgiven, well, that's the mirror of those that cannot find the neutral. So you're forgiven again.
Right.
Those that are the unforgiven are the unforgiving, and that's their own mirror. It's crazy, awesome how this mirror works here. With everything being backwards.
It is.
So it's like this. Ego says, I'm going to imprint that bullshit and play the game with you. Or the spirit says, no, I remember being that. Yeah, you're doing good. You get a ways to go, but I remember being that. But I'm going to help you along by giving you your shit back. Here you go. Let that swirl around in you for a little bit.
Yeah, that's me all the time, Dad. I just laugh. I'm like, nah, you got to be kidding me. That's not going to happen. Go.
Yeah, cool.
Well, the good news is, even with their silly emotionals that we've all had and all experienced and been there, like I said, you pick the worst asshole on the planet. I can be that because I've been there. And you can be the finest being in the universe, and I've been there too. So, again, it's the contrast. Once you see the contrast, once you pull the blessing out of what you think is a curse and pull the curse of what you think is a blessing, then you've neutralized it. That's why that's what you mean. That's what you average, right? Yep. MENE. Remember, 40-55. So that is the Coptic key. And we've decoded the Coptic key.
Right.
There's a W in it as well, right? So that's why I'm taking the W's out and putting in O's instead.
And that's what alchemy is. It's an equivalent exchange, right? So, and you're exactly bingo with the contrast is not going with one or the other, seeing them and then alchemizing them. It's an equivalent exchange, and absolutely.
It's turning lead into gold. That's what alchemy is. It's turning that density of emotion into the gold, the pure light that you are, the AU, right? The awe.
I want to make a really quick point. I was in England a few months ago, and I went to the British Science Museum in London, and they had an exhibit on the second floor, and anybody in London probably can vouch for this. And the whole half of the side of the building was on the second floor, all dedicated to alchemy and ancient alchemic symbols and parchments. And I was like, maybe 3 of us were there, and like everybody else was on the other side of the museum. Hardly anybody was looking at that. And I wanted to ask you, what does that mean? I mean, in a way, does that mean that
that's
they're putting it out
awakening?
there, the information?
Yeah. That's consciousness awakening.
Who's going to come to it? Yeah.
Well, see, we will. You see, but we're looking at it with the eyes to see it, and there are many out there that are going to walk through, and it's going to trigger the eyes to see it. And we're gathering. This is the whole point of why we sit at this table every night, because we're creating that neutral, literal 0 point in consciousness. And remember the law of sound: dominant frequencies prevail. Dominant frequency is contained in those that can get neutral to have the blue blood of creation. That's where they become the heirs, the lungs, right? You breathe, and that's where your creation is overriding. Now, that dominant frequency, you've seen this happen. The dominant frequency will always bring other frequencies into balance with it. It's shown in a room full of clocks that when you leave them in a room, you put 100 clocks all ticking differently. And maybe 2 of them, well, not maybe, 2 of them are ticking and talking fairly close together. The one that is slightly louder is going to bring the one that's closest to it, and then they're going to start ticking in unison. And then the 3rd and 4th and 5th will fall into line with that. And it doesn't take long before you know it. All say 100 or 200 clocks in that room are ticking and talking together.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing. We're taking the tick off, the cyst off, and becoming the talk, the true talk, the sound, the silent sound of creation, right? That's the sound of music.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that sound too, because I heard it like back when I won't get into the whole thing. I talked with you about it a little bit, Kate, but I was asleep, and there was this, and actually this past few days, my ears, there was like a pressure, and I could hear like a little zzz, like a zzz type thing, and it was real powerful. I don't know how many years ago, 20 years ago, but it was like I was traveling. It was sound, but it was like zzz. It started off low, then it got real. It was like zzz, and it was like zzz, And I woke up, and actually, no, that's right. I remember now. I saw this. It was like a grid. It was like yellow with like a sideways grid, like tipped on its side. And I remember seeing that, and it was. The back, it was like yellow with, I don't know what the grid lines look like, but that's exactly what it is. Yeah, it's that sound that's in us, that frequency, and maybe, I mean, I don't ultimately know how it works and operates, but it's just I don't think we in a sense, need to know exactly. Just getting close enough to it to feel the vibrations of that, because that's what's that's the part that gives us we're conscious of it, but yeah, so and we're gonna unturn more stones and discover more things, absolutely, because like you said, it's picking up momentum, and it's all good.
Oh, for sure.
I'm with you.
Yeah, so, and just a mental note for everybody out there, don't get caught up in the mindless psychobabble of people trying to defend a position, be it religious or otherwise, because what you're dealing with is the imprinting program of a multiple personality schizophrenic. Literally, I mean literally. The ego is a multiple personality schizophrenic that is operating from imprints that have been placed on them, concepts and ideals that they accepted blindly without looking at it for themselves. And that's one of the most important things about this table. Never take my word for it. That's why I tell people, go and play, see for yourself, and that's why I ask, do you see it? Good. Okay, then I know that helps me in my delivery of what I'm sharing and how I can share it, because there's nothing more frustrating than trying to find the words for something you just can't put into words. It really is that crazy.
Yeah.
You know, you're good at it though. So you know.
Well, this is my role here, and in gratitude I accept, and in gratitude I return. You see, that's the other thing about, and it's not about not being able to take quote compliments or not, but it calm ply mind. You see, that's the problem with compliments, is it's with ply to add a layer of the mind. So everything for me is accepted neutrally and delivered neutrally, to make sure that, because I'll tell you, excuse me, if I had any sort of an ego, the things that people send me and write me all the time,
you'd be a mess.
I'd sound like Alex Jones.
That's your challenge, is to
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You are the resistance to compliments. Yes, I know, Alex. It's all good.
You are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wire it up.
I got a word for it.
Wired with TNT.
Yeah, love and love, baby. Law of truth and law of truth.
There's this word, and it's I believe Gnostics will use it to describe, or alchemists in the day would use it to describe the power of the imagination. They called it the artifacts.
Yeah.
T-I-F-E-X.
Yeah. Well, effect is here. I looked that one up before. Let me just pull up effect. Because you got words like affect, infect, defect. So those. See, there's a root word in there because you've got a lot of prefixes that go to it. So let me have a look at fect, because we're all fect.
Direct, protect, a lot of X.
Yeah, so this was interesting that they spelt it F-E-X, but I know, like you're saying, same sound.
Sound, right?
Rabbit.
So the affects, defects, etc.
Rabbit.
Well, I know that
Artifact?
the word fect. Yeah, fect comes from fact, and fact is from factidious, which means artificial. Isn't it funny how artifacts, artificial, artifacts?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's too funny, right? I just want to confirm. I know I've looked this up before years ago because I thought it was pretty. Well, look at the word affection 8. Yeah, you did. Confection. Oh yeah, baby. Let's go get our confectionery confections so we can be affected by them and be defected by them at the same time. It's funny as hell. Yeah, I know.
If someone's looking for a house or a street to live on, a new place to move to, for example, are there certain things that they should look for in the street signs that would help them? Because I know, you get where I'm coming from here?
Yeah, I know. See that what that's doing is trying to pre-plan the plan you've already got made perfectly, and that's what you're doing then is telling your cab driver where you want to go. If you just follow your heart. If it's a place you like, just grab it and then look around. Don't worry about these things up front because everything will present itself anyway. Just follow your heart, and when you do that, everything will be perfect.
Yeah. All the clues will just drop right on you. You'll be like, oh, wow, I just noticed that, and then, I just noticed that. And, that works.
Yeah, I've been writing all the names down of all the places I used to live, and they're kind of weird, like Crescent Avenue, Hermitage Court. And looking back on it
the
now,
Hermitage Court. Okay, the Hermitage Heart. Hermetic.
That's where you could have gone right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
The Hermetic
really weird
Heart.
And in downtown Charleston, South Carolina, they have. I used to live on King Street, And I used to live on Bull Street, oddly enough, Bull, where they filmed parts of North and South, the house across from my little apartment. So it was really weird.
Well,
wow.
Again, it was Bull Street?
Yeah.
Well, so that's a Taurus, right? Toroidal field. And these are, this is, what we're talking about right now is now you can start connecting all of your little dots in your experience with what we're sharing at the table, and this is what makes it beautiful. Then you start seeing the magic. I used to live many years ago at 155, or is that 155 again, which is, of course, 11, right, duality. Cunt, tree, club, Orion, drive. Doctor I have, right?
Wow.
Hey, here in Hawaii, and especially on Molokai, a lot of times, like if you ask somebody where you live, you go by the mile marker or some nature landmark. And then if you do have an address, we sometimes have 4 or 5 different addresses, like depending on which company. It's kind of weird. Like even people are like, it's like the concept is not. It's hard to fit. You see what I'm saying? It's why we have 4 or 5 different addresses. It's just like, that's just some. It doesn't work. Here. But
here's your purpose. Before you go on, here's your purpose. You're there to pop out the eye of Moloch.
Yeah, I know, and we're
Molokai. Pop it out.
So here's the my street address, or one of them, 9B. Yeah, somehow my house has got a letter. And and we were talking about vowels. My street name is U'alapue.
Wow.
Yeah.
Say that again.
U'alapue. And this is the area is U'alapue. And then you just go just like a little bit down, and it's got another kind of place name. It just really reminds me of the Aina here. The land is really alive, and it comes through in the sounds, and in the and in the Hawaiian language.
When I first moved to Hawaii, I mean, cut you off.
Yeah.
I lived at 35D Kalapua Drive.
There you go, 35, 13. No.
Yeah, 35B. And the street was Kalapua. Wow. And just so happened, I just found
lived at 2B.
Well, you see now what you do with these things is start applying some of the Coptic keys to them, and then you'll know why. And then once you start seeing how everything you've ever done is connected to everything you've ever done, that's a language of light. Now you're seeing with your ears and hearing with your eyes.
Yes.
All is sound.
Wow. 35, that's my birthday, 5/31. And then B, that's my middle initial. Wow. I mean, I just didn't think of that before, but...
Wow. That applying it to yourself, you just, wow.
Yes.
Wow.
We are our own clues. We have them.
And you're like, I'm it. That's it. I'm it.
Yeah.
I'm going to play. No more. Hide and seek's over. Got to go find. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta go try to find everyone that's hiding, but, if they don't want to be found.
Here's another funny aspect with the so-called postal code here. I live, the main kind of town is 15 miles down the road, 14 miles down the road from me. Like I said, where I live is actually, the street name is actually also the area here. And if you just go right there, it's got another name like I was saying. But in terms of postal code, where everyone kind of basically east of town goes by that town's postal code. So even though I don't live there, we're all Kanakakai. It's just so funny. It's just like, so if somebody goes, oh, you live in Kanakakai, I'm like, no, but that old system, it's just so weird. And living here, it's kind of, it's like the new system, but it's hard to become the old system. Kate, no difference here. But it's the imprint on the organic. And we see this overlay of the synthetic, and it's as I'm seeing, it's quite a laugh here how it doesn't really sink in that it's like trying to take hold here, and it can't. It's just the land is too pure here to allow that matrix kind of mind program to take hold. Not that people don't choose to dabble in it, but it's kind of funny if you. It's like how I joke if you look at, like I said, a building without a roof. Like, I don't want to describe these institutions, whether they're governmental, religious, or whatever, but I just reminds me of being outdoors again, and that being the real. The sky is your roof, if you can even call the sky, if you even want to put it in an encapsulating thing. And this is where I'm coming to this is when we enclose things. It's like we do that with government and churches. We put we kind of wrap it in something, and this is something I want to share about when we talk about one. And a lot of times we do say we are one, but it isn't we are one as we talk about in a collective, in a ball, one all the same. It's a one of infinity. It's because we're all infinite. That's
exactly.
Yeah, so it's completely. It's not a limited. And when a lot of times when we in the New Age belief system, they don't realize in that cosmic deception they're playing at the same game that was in the religioso doctrine being spewed in this so-called third Earth matrix level. Same one. We'll catch you on a cosmic level, but it's the same. Oh, we're all one. We're all love, and then you realize that it's another outward projection into a limiting. No matter how interesting the playgrounds might be and vast, it's still again in a limiting structure. And
again, it's beautiful. Now remember, take the warning. It was very clear. The deceivers will be everywhere. And those stuck in their little worlds will think that the Antichrist is this, the Antichrist is that, and they'll never once look in the mirror that they're the alternating current. They're the Antichrist. Okay? No, that's what the whole direct current is, ADC, right? So,
right.
And what is ACDC? LGBT community, yeah, it's when you neutralize this, when you get this down. So here's what when you're direct curing the mind, then you're direct current. Okay, so it's either cur, as in cur is, right? You miserable cur. You miserable cur mind, right, current, or cure end. Depends on how you pronoun and say it. So I bring it home that way. So let me tell you both sides of the deceivers. What a deceiver is one who undoes or cannot see the truth. It's also one. This is why I say I'm a deceiver. That depends on you on if you've neutralized the word or not. If you take it only from a negative perspective, got some feedback going on. Some speakers. That's okay. It's okay. It's all good. Let's look at the positive side of seeing truth. Of course, I'm a deceiver. Just depends on how you pronounce it. Better yet, it depends on whose and what definition is limiting you to think that it only means something negative that's polarized. And this is that. Now you're going to find anyone that has an imprinted ego program. It's not in the pure being. This is the part that people don't get. You see, here's the thing. If anything that I say offends anyone or anything, that's not me. That's not my intent. My intent is to shock your chakra. To see the program that's running that's not you. And I always know when someone is already in a pre-assumed assumption of intent based on being caught in time, in a past moment, an imprint from another ego infection, which makes them the victim. They're always in a constant victim mode, always needing to defend, always needing to justify. Well, I did that because I don't fucking care. Look at the contrast. Is it something you would do again knowing it was harming? Is it something you would do again knowing it is helping? And that's where you have to, you cannot do this in conversation with people. You cannot. It just becomes a fucking playground for the literal left mind, ego, monkey, chatter brain, looking to defend and justify, assert to be right. And that is an alternating current. That is an antichrist. And you will find the majority of people on this planet are in the alternating current. So be the good pro-phi-T, okay? For creation of the law of truth, love. And if you want, plant the seed of truth. Just give them a monkey or a kangaroo in their court to jump around with for a while and walk away. You know? Because I'm done. I'm done playing this monkey chatter game. You know, because all it's going to do is keep reinforcing an old imprint that was got from another person, another being, another ego imprint that they got from somebody else, that they got from somebody else. You're dealing with, that's what the whores of truth do. They pass on their lies. And it's the ego program, not the most beautiful essence in the universe that I can see. That's all I see. And there's nothing more painful for me than to watch an ego program controlling it. And when I see that program finally break, then I get my bliss. Go ahead.
Get a scanner. Sounds like a scanner. Scan her. See that? Scan her. I'm telling you, scan her. Hey, Kate.
Yeah.
You know how you've been talking about, and I knew it would dawn on you. Or it's because that's what's just been welling up inside of us and going. What is it? Beyond the what do they say in Star Trek? Going beyond the somewhere, wherever. But that's where we're going off in the abyss here, which is the good abyss. But the Coptic key, right? Because that's pretty cool. I'm gonna check that out with Daniel. And what passage was that?
524, if memory recalls.
524.
Yeah, chapter 5, verse 24. It's 24, 25, 26. I think there's about 5 verses there. But, you know, that's a great book.
Wow.
It was funny. I saw a picture posted on Facebook. It had a Bible, $14.99, in the fiction. Well, yes, it's actually fiction and pure, unadulterated truth if you can see it with your ears.
Yeah. Well, this is the kicker. Yeah, chapter 5, verse 5. The 5's everywhere too. But the Coptic key. Play around with this tonight, right? And you'll get a kick out of this. And because I know you'll see it. But just take the Coptic key and just connect a U, or like make a pyramid from the top to the next one. If you want to play, you don't have to do it right now, but play around with it, and I know that'll open up some more doors. And you know, it's
oh no! Again, follow your heart. Follow the things.
Yeah.
That you really enjoy, because they're the things that will pull you into the enter the mirror of the mind entertainment. But now you know better. So now you're looking at it from an energetic perspective, one with hearing with your eyes instead of being blinded.
Yeah.
And I be careful of, you know, the symbols that you see, the correlate. All of these things are in everything. You'll see it everywhere.
Oh,
do not get don't get caught in the symbols. You already know what they mean.
Oh, hell. No,
you
know? No, I don't get.
So now back away and watch the set even closer, but watch the energies of the actors. Now, I've said that if you're going to watch things, if it's a male lead, that's the typically the positive. It's always the feminine. the energy contained within, and the female lead is the masculine positive, masculine within.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
And then you'll see the mirror of the double cross.
That's amazing.
It is.
Funny too.
It is not maze. It is not a maze. A maze, not maze. And that's where you become a child of the crown, your own crow that's yours, versus being a kid of the dead crown, the whore of Babylon, where everyone's, having a very, very serious incestuous relationship with. You're all the children of the crown while you're all fucking a dead mother. That's not a good thing. That won't get you spiritually far.
That's for sure.
What is the word for, a necrophiliac? Yeah, there you go.
Necro what?
Necrophiliac.
Necrophilia.
Yeah, have a look at, what was the Dick movie?
Now, see, you know what, Kate? What you just said is ringing, and, that's why what we're doing, we're emitting. I'm not going to get into it, but yeah, see, that's the thing is you're picking up on things that are relating, and that's what's happening is that the experiences that we have, things that we see, that's what we're doing. We're fearlessly right now using alchemy, right? Because it's an equivalent exchange. We're not expecting anything, or it's an equivalent exchange. We're giving, what that we're giving our magnetic electric energy in the equivalence of receiving and giving back without any obligations, contracts. That's why it's flowing. That's why we
come here with the intention to play. That's all I ask. Come here with the intention to play. Come here to be the intent of the urn, okay? And that actually works too, because you got to get the ashes done so you can fly out of it as the phoenix. You come here to play. This is the playground. This is where the angels in the kindergarten that are actually learning to play together come here to play. And we share our toys at show and tell.
Yes.
I love hearing about your toys. They're awesome.
Oh. I love it.
Do you remember as a kid, you were sitting there in kindergarten or grade 1, whatever, when you could still have show and tell, and you brought your teddy bear or your doll or whatever, and you were sitting there really excited, and you're going, I can hardly wait for my turn, and you weren't really focusing on the other kids because your toy was the best one in the world that you wanted to talk about, right? So what we're doing here is we're going, whoa, that toy is exactly the same as mine. It's gorgeous. And whoa, that one's the same as mine, and it's gorgeous. And it neutralizes it all, and that's what we're doing here. It's like, because I know everybody's toys are stunningly beautiful. So that's what I want to hear about. I know mine are. I know yours are.
Yeah. Thank you, Kate. That was beautiful, beautiful, Mary. Absolutely.
Right. And if y'all don't claim your toys, I'll claim your toys. I'll take everybody's toys.
And you can have my toys, absolutely. And I can have yours.
Fine too. Yeah.
Well, it's not stealing. This is where we're going, wow, this is great. Here, play with this one. Yours is awesome. Can I play? Sure, okay. Then, and now you're playing together instead of beating the shit out of each other for Barbie dolls and Tonka trucks.
I'm right. No, I'm right. No, I'm right. I'm going.
My toy's better than your toy. Fuck you. Mine's better than yours. And all the rest of it. It's crazy shit, man. Now have a look at Earth, and that's what you got going on. My
but then when all
is way more victim than yours.
Them all. Remember that song, My Ding-a-Ling? Was that it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Ding-a-ling. I want you to play with my ding. My mom bought that record.
Wow, were they perverting us young? I love that song.
Now let's sing it properly. My tinkle-link, my tinkle-link, tinkle, tinkle, little star. Yeah, Tinkerbell, tink. No, it's just a coincidence. Wait a minute, Walt Disney is a little naughty. Yeah, that's why he built the fucking playground. Yeah.
I was using this song, and as weird as it is, with a heavy metal song. balls to the walls or something.
Yeah.
Wow.
Great tune, actually.
Yeah.
One of my favorites was from Korn. Actually, a guy that worked with me had this as his alarm wake up. It was wake the fuck up. It was perfect. Korn. Wake the fuck up. You're in a maze. Yes, you are Korn. You're in a maze. Amazing grace. Yeah, the hex race. That's what humanity is.
Holy
a hex
shit.
race. Yep. Play this game. Just grab a handful of words with G's and P's and D's in it. Start flipping them out for the KRT.
Yeah.
Put them in the cart. Put the cart before the horse.
Yeah.
I mean, what about
Jimmy
girls?
Crack Corn.
Well, Cure-L. It's the cure of the intent. Cure-L. It's
Yeah.
like the law of spirit breath into consciousness. Wait till you hear this. I'm going to tell you what this is when I'm done. You're a freak. The law. Tell me if you can tell me what this is. I'm going to tell you anagogically. That's the law of the spirit breath into consciousness. The unconditional love taking its place through the spirit breath of intent into consciousness, and modus operandi.
What
You
was
might
that,
remember
Cal what?
Yeah. Well, you won't get it, I know, but when you will when I tell you what it is. Now you know what the three Stooks are. The Stukas? The three Stooks? Larry, Curly, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
what you
thought of
find
them
when
too,
you do
connected
this.
yeah, something with them too. Yeah, with the Stooges.
Everything connects. It's not something, everything.
Everything. Oh, yeah. Well, you see that
everything.
something, and right. Yeah, and then you can connect everything.
Well, the Whore of Babylon is done. I'll tell you why, because while we were talking, do I have enough time for this? While we were talking, yeah, I've got a few minutes. I did a Celtic spread based on this system, and of course the first card was the Queen of Swords, which is Morgause. Nasty bitch. That's the morgue of the gold of creation. That's how it's spelled. I just changed it phonetically, and it tells me what it is.
The morgue of the what? The gold?
Morgause.
The morgue of the gold?
Is it an extra R, M-O-R-R, or M-O-R-E?
She was the full sister to Morgan and the half sister to Arthur. Morgause.
Okay.
M-O-R-G-A-U-S-E.
What are we talking about?
M-O-R-G-A-U.
We talking Dynasty or Dallas? Which show are we talking?
How do you spell that, Kate?
Oh, this is in the this is in the tarot. M-O-R.
Oh yeah, excellent.
G-A-U-S-E.
G-A-U-S.
Right, so
okay.
So let's here. Let me translate her name phonetically. The modus operandi of the spirit breath into the hex of the gold of creation.
Ooh.
Okay. So here, that's why I know it's the crown. A very clever woman with an uncanny perception. She is discreet yet ambitious, and more than capable of winning success. She likes to suck tacks. Intelligent and versatile, she often outwits those who oppose her. Not anymore. A woman who firmly believes knowledge is power. Well, she's right. Despite her capability, she can represent a woman embittered by the past. The Queen of Swords can indicate separation, widowhood, or financial instability. And right on top of that is the number 11 card, Justice. What are the odds? By the way,
Wow.
let them get there. The final outcome is the Tower.
The Tower.
Here's Justice, which is the jeu of the divine feminine in the law of truth, Isis. And of course it's ruled by Libra, the balance, right? The Baal lance. Justice delivers total honesty and reveals the consequences of past actions. It represents receiving one's just rewards. Enjoy. Achieving balance and harmony after toils and tribulations. Yeah, I had a couple of those. I'm sure you guys did too. Responsible conduct, reaching a state of equilibrium with oneself. Peace of mind, making a well-balanced choice, entering into an equal partnership, being able to see both sides of a situation. Oh, that sounds like left and right coming into balance. Integrity and contracts. Yeah, contrast indeed. Reaching an agreement. Yeah, you're done. I can agree with that. The favorable outcome of a judicial matter. Well, that's the je of the Trinity I call. Yeah, so that's the over. And by the way, the number 2 card, it represents the positive forces or assets working in our favor. The first one is the relationship to the present situation the Crown has. Not very good, I don't think. Now, the 9 of Shields, that's Ragnell. That is the card has Ragnell kneeling and the spirit rising out of her. Beautiful card.
Yeah.
And Ragnall is, 9 of Shields. Shields is coins or coincidences. Yeah, I know. 9. Here we go. Prudence and discretion. This is from the higher self. Foresight brings success. Adhering to one's values, discernment and personal honor. Accomplishment by way of goodwill towards others. Diplomacy and patience. Following through on plans. Honoring a promise, fulfilling obligations. Popularity, receiving and enjoying rewards. So let's move on down. Oh yeah, don't worry, they'll get the just rewards. Listen, golden rule, that which you wish upon another, you've wished upon yourself. Who am I to interfere with natural law? The golden rule, not a chance.
What's that one word a lot of people like to say? Thy will be done.
Thy will be done, yeah.
These 4 little sounds, wow, we can play with those for a while.
Oh, you can play with them all day long. That's why I tell people, play! Come on to the playground. That's what we do here. So the number 4 card is the preoccupation. Of course, it's pretend. Betraying ya. Yeah, they had it close, but anyway. A woman with an otherworldly air. She's creative with a wealth of artistic ability. Yeah, it's a good game. I mean, I'm not knocking the game. A delicate romantic beauty, a woman who is acutely sensitive to her environment, one who trusts her intuitive sense and psychic abilities, poetic person of vision and intelligence, a realistic woman of strength and integrity, can represent love and a happy marriage. Well, you wanted the whore, you marry the whore. Dun, 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 dun. 5.
Oh my.
Past events and past events and influences that color and give rise to the current situation. Well, it's the 8 of Swords, and this one's been coming up.
Don't talk about my wife like that, Kate.
The 8 of Swords is the sword of strange hangings. Yeah, it's going to be strange, all right. The release of a great force, action, conquest, and determination. Yeah, I think we're putting that force out there. Putting up an impressive fight. The making of a firm decision which substantially impacts one's life. Prolonged suffering forges a great force which, when directed, as it is now, frees one from an oppressive situation. Ta-da! Necessary change for the better. Deep, powerful emotions which initiate action and bring triumph. Remember, those emotions are the emote ions in the silence. That's where they go. So if you're going to meditate, get in that zone of complete neutrality. Put your focus on balance. The number 6 card. Do we have time for this? I got a couple minutes. I'll just read a few of these. But anyway, these are... I'll finish. Well, I always say I'm going to finish it tomorrow, but I never do, so I'm not going to lie to you. I'll read what I can. It is. I'm not going to worry about it. Anyway, the card in the 6th position is the state of the relationships with others. Well, I think it works for us nicely. Abundance, happiness, nourishment, and protection. Well, that applies to everybody. If that's what you're wishing for, you're going to get abundance of it, absolutely. And you're going to be happy, nourished, and protected, I guess, if you have that need. The beginning of a fulfilling, worthwhile project or cycle in life, contentment, joy, and satisfaction. Lending one's skills to further a noble cause, that's what we're doing. Goodwill, divine inspiration. Yeah, I hear that from all of you. Fertility and productivity. Plant those seeds, get those kangaroos a-bumping. Following a higher call, receptivity to a higher plane, receiving the fruits of past goodness. Excellent. And of course, temperance is in the 7th spot, which is goes back. It's basically I look at the 1 and 7 card as direct as the individual or whatever the situation is, and it is the psychological state and attitudes. All right, so it's 14, which is temperance. This is why, and temperance is also a balance, right? It's ruled by Sagittarius. Talk about creation. Moderation, patience, and diplomacy. Stay the course. Consistent behavior, successfully mixing two different attributes of the personality. So there you go. I'll keep going. The Knight of Swords is in the 8th position, the Knight of Two Swords is the Two of Swords, and that is the environment and unseen forces. Where was it? Influencing the situation. All right, Two of Swords. Yeah, it gets fun, doesn't it? See, I use it. These are divination tools to me because I know how to read them and I know how to trust them. So the moment of this is a moment of indecision, blind judgment, conforming to a traditional path without question. Whoops. Uncertainty. Yeah, ego will get you that every time. Reaching an impasse and not knowing how one should proceed. Well, here's BB one. Having to make a choice without the benefit of foresight because you're blind. A clouded perception of one's options because ego's getting in the way. A deadlock of equal forces. Not really. Procrastination. Well, no, I'll look at procrastination from I'm going in to meditate. Stalling and hope that the best choice will become obvious. Don't worry, the system will save us. And we have the Knight of Shields in the hopes and fears. Good luck with that. Where are we? 10-page Knight. An honest, hard-working man, supportive tradition and order, polite, capable man who's genuinely committed to achieving the full potential, etc., etc. Absolutely, I'm all over that. And I'll do the Tower real quick, so I've got them all done.
Great.
I'm sorry about last night. Actually, the net dropped last night. The Tower is ruled by Mars. Yeah, they can have their Mars. Unheeded warnings, a false sense of security, war and destruction, revolutionary change and anxiety, the breakdown of a belief system under pressure. Think with wars and stuff. I did a few tie-ins with Aries and Aries. Sounds the same, doesn't it? Well, one's the ram and one's the god of war. It depends on what culture you look at. But then I look at everything to connect everything. Because if the sound means something in one language and something else in another, and it has the same sound, well, you better decide which one you're going to, get singular with. And that's really what Phoenician is. You see, the words are polarized, equal and opposite. And when you start breaking them down, you start seeing these polarities in, crystal clear technicolor. So that's why I've been really harping on this whole Phoenician law, which is the phoenix, and it's not it's more like phony shun, and to get out of this crazy joke. And that's what it is here. Those that get the joke, isn't it interesting? Let me just go to, where was it? Here it is. I have a lot of pages open right now, and I thought that I would leave them open because I knew I'd be talking about a lot of things tonight. And this one is from the gnosis.org library, and it's regarding the book that I just referenced, the book of IEOU. Now, contained within this is the Coptic key, and do not, so many people get caught up in the symbolism, the symbols. Someone's hitting the crash symbol and they're deafening your eyes, okay? That's not a coincidence. There are none in Phoenician. Okay. Or phony shun. Well, if I'm going to use the shun sound, I'm going to go phony shun. So what we're doing is eliminating this phony nonsense of the literal reality that so many people are worshiping. I did a bunch of word split ups today too, just to play a little bit and keep expanding, exposing what it is I've been talking about for so very long. I mean, the traits of this whole phony shun aspect has been there, looking back at my work. I'm talking even the legal stuff and whatever, 3.5, 4 years ago. And I was already doing this, but I wasn't in a state of awareness of doing it. And again, that's it. It's not like I didn't know. There was something intuitive telling me. I just wasn't aware of that knowing. And I keep trying to stress that. You know all things. Just how aware you are of that state of knowing. And if you're not looking, well, oh well. You got to look. It takes a little bit of effort. But it's interesting to note in this doc or the page on the gnosis.org page from the book of IEOU. Where was it? I just want to. It's quite fascinating, connecting it phonetically. Just got to find the one paragraph that I'd like to read, and oh, here we go. It is spelled J-E-U, if you're going to use the Western alphabet. Okay, in French, jeu means to play or game, right? And you're going to laugh. Anyway, just let me read a little bit of this for you. Remember, don't anytime you hear the word God or whatever, you know what it is, a source. So just keep that in mind, because it's very easy to get your Anno Domini. And by the way, I broke all that down, so we'll have a little fun with that. Get your Anno Domini set up. Just clear the board here. Lose all charge on all words. And I'm going to come at you from an etheric tonight. More so than probably, well, I do anyway, but more so tonight. I'm going to stay really focused on this. So I'll read a couple of things here, and just keep that in the back of your mind. Stay in the lateral slide here. Don't go up the literal poop chute here. All right. Now, this is chapter 5 of the book of IEOU. You probably didn't notice that one in a Bible, by the way. Yeah. You probably didn't notice a book of wisdom either. Well, you can talk to your Catholic friends to know what that is. Anyway, chapter 5. He has emanated him being of this type. This is the true God. He will set him up in this type as head. He will be called Je, or you can pronounce that Jew. Interesting. Afterwards, my Father will move him to bring forth other emanations so that they fill these places. This is his name according to the treasuries for which are outside this. He will be called by this name. Now remember, this is Jesus talking, okay? That is to say, the true God. He will set him up in this type as head over the treasuries which are outside this. This is the type of the treasuries over which he will set him as head, and this is the manner in which the treasuries are distributed, he being their head. This is the type in which he was before he was moved to bring forth emanations. Source. Okay. Furthermore, he will be called Je, or Jew. He will be father of a multitude of emanations, and a multitude of emanations will come forth from him through the command of my Father. Remember what Father is. That's from the heart. Mother and Father. We've talked about this a few times. Don't get dualized on this whole boy-girl thing, okay? We're dealing singularities here, and I've already shown that they're one and the same. One is the source, Fa, the heart, which is divine feminine. The other is the modus operandi, the mother, which would be, believe it or not, the masculine intent. Funny how that works. Almost like it would in the mirror backwards or something. Kind of a trend on this planet, apparently. But anyway, bottom line is this. We're here playing a game. And if you're not playing, then you're spiraling down. You're caught in the quagmire. You're caught in the oceans, the swirling oceans of emotion. Inasmuch as if you're roiling and broiling in those waters, you're done. It's that simple. Now, that being said, it sounds very final. It is, but here. I was asked earlier today, I think Barbara had asked earlier about emotions. Are they a bad thing? No, they're not. It's the whole purpose of playing, isn't it? The problem is experiencing an emotion and then living there. That's where you become a victim or gripped in time. That's the time trap. That's the time.
You're listening to Kate of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now, it's our turn.
Yeah, good evening. Excuse me. Welcome to Outside the Box. Yeah, we're going to take a wild trip outside the box tonight, I think. Probably a lot of you feeling the same way I do many days, where when you see the language of light, that's what you're watching when you're seeing the Phoenician breakdown using your ears as your eyes instead of your I don't know. It's about that double cross. And the double cross can be taken as, you've been double crossed. Yeah, well, we all got double crossed. That doesn't mean to say we can't double cross back, right? So even a straight line traveled up one way and come back the next is a double cross. So it's time to, start looking at things. Well, we all do, as far as I can tell at this table anyway. Look at things from a completely different perspective. Now, I did do a Mayan card split, and you see, I always do these things in a complete divination, knowing that all things for a reason, all things are perfect, and whether or not you can see it, well, it's going to be the difference between the ego and, not to be using any definitions from any psychology or whatever. Effectively, all the ego is, I just use that word to encompass the emotions, the out-of-control waters, the stormy waters that the majority of humanity gets caught up in. And that's from social programming, cultural programming, your canvas being painted for you the instant you get here by all of those around you, which is not a real sense of the reality. Excuse me, it is one that has been defined and programmed, and it's a playing field here. And it was interesting, I was reading through the book of, what was it? Or A-E-I-O. Anyway, it's the vowels. Let me just bring it up here. It's friggin' awesome. I should know these things, but let's just say I've had a full day of connecting dots, putting some stuff together. It's the book of I-E-O-U, and very little read, very little known. Bill Donahue does a beautiful piece on it. I was actually spent a fair bit of time looking through that today, decoding things phonetically, correlating all these coincidences. And it gets increasingly difficult to communicate with anyone that are caught in any form of what would be deemed normal way of life thinking. And I tell you, probably the crazier I look, I assure you, the crazier you look. It works that way in the mirror. So that's the whole thing about singularity. If you think I'm crazy, well, just imagine what I think. Okay? It works both ways. You decide to walk in a insane or insane. I just chose to follow the yellow brick road and the magic instead of doing the same thing everyone has been doing for the last whoever knows how many thousands of years. Hasn't really worked out that well. I took so many notes today. I was fiddling around with so many things. I was looking at my AC/DC on my my chart, my ascending and descending signs, and it's interesting that this thing is Leo, of course, and the descending is Aquarius. So basically it says, I know I will. That's pretty much, I will, I know I will. It's pretty cool. All the clues come out of it, and I have, like, my head is so crammed right now with stuff. If you want to expand, well, let's flip out some words or letters there. We have X, Pan, T, right? And of course the P is row, but I'll take the translation of pan, meaning to go across, you know. So what does expand mean? It means, well, life across the law of truth. And I went into so many things regarding the yin yang, the spiraling in and out. If you look at the swastika, yeah, that's the knot of C, unconditional love, not C. And of course, not C. You're blind. Yeah, this is just crazy fun. I did the NZ, right? From the N Z, not Z, NZ, not Z, and there's your swastika. So I of course did the Z and the N backwards, and well, lo and behold, there's the other spiral. The one is the 6-9 spiraling in, and the other is the 9-6 spiraling out. I've looked at a couple of things today, but I'm going to go down I took a bunch of notes on where we go. Just going to bring it up here. Ongoing word notes. Yeah, just a few coincidences. It's like, I take a couple of I'll start with this. Take a couple of well-known scientists, and like Einstein and Newton. Well, if you just took it from the literal and were only seeing with your eyes, you would be distracted. But let's, I, and, which ein, which is the I that's mine, Stein, Einstein, right? So it's basically sty in your eye. Get it out. And Newton becomes, spell it, new, N-E-U, from neutral, right? New, so neutral, tone. You get in the neutrals. And D sent me an email. D, slow down on the emails, man. I can't keep up with you. It's way too much reading for me. So kind of condense it, please. I love you. Great work, though. Sent me this diagram of the body grid emotions. And it really just nails the whole point of what I'm talking about with the emotions. If you have any fires burning within you at all, you're still in the process of the trial by fire. That's I talked about it last night. Ikshak, Meshach, Laverne, and Shirley, right? Doesn't matter who they are. I could break their names down too, and it'll all make perfect sense. But that was the whole story of that. That once you burn all of that away, that's your phoenix that's going to rise from those ashes. And it's funny how the phoenix is the phoenix that does this. Yeah, you can't make this shit up. It's perfect. It's beautiful when you see it, and it's the one that's going to keep owning you and keep you acting and reacting from that same point of negative. Experience the emotion. That's why the wife must be subservient to the husband. Emotions must be subservient to the mind. It's a matter of, are the emotions controlling you? And yeah, there's some days that they're a little tough to get out of, but just spend the time, look at the gratitude contained within it for the lesson you're getting. Because what it gave you was an opportunity to be grateful for learning it. And it's one of those little check marks. Okay, experience that. Cool. Don't have to. And if you just look at it from that perspective, well, that was a really cool experience, or that was a really shitty experience. Cool. I've checked that off your list. You're playing a game. All right. It's a treasure hunt. What do they call those things when you go around grabbing? Yeah, I forget what they're called. Day 5 of a fast. So, yeah, interesting. Yeah, emptied the belly of the beast. That's for sure. Okay, so let's get into a couple of things. I'm just going to get over and check the board here. I got so many windows open. Oh, there's Mike. Hey, Mike, how are you?
Hey, hello all. Yeah, wonderful.
Good stuff. So, what's going on? What's going on with you today?
Oh, where do I begin? Well, yeah, that was almost lifetimes ago. Sometimes when I think about it, when I tried to, let's just say I get up beautiful, and right now it's still beautiful day, shining, blue skies. I can see the ocean, and I've had quite a full day. I still got, it's 2 o'clock here, but I'm up early in the pre-dawn hours, and I get to experience so much magic. It feels to me in the first 2-3 hours. It's just so beautiful, and so it just flows from there. And yeah, it's just like gravy. After that, I'm like, wow, I still got much day to experience. Wow, and I've already had a full day.
Yeah, I had a bit of a snow squall come through here today. Nothing major, just wind with a little bit of snow blowing through. So yeah, marches in like a lion. She'll go out like a lamb. That I know. But let's get into a little bit of wordplay here. Now, yeah, it was funny. I was watching a video earlier. Again, I just follow my heart, right? Watched this video earlier from Before It's News. Anyway, something about the Nephilim or whatever. And it's always here. I find it humorous to listen to these R.C. Cola or the Religiocosus Chosenitis, right? Types preaching about deceptions, you know, the deceivers, while they're the ones deceived by the very church scribes and Pharisees Jesus and the other teachers warned them about, you know. It's like it's funny to hear. You know, they're coming down and they're, you know, you're gonna make us gods and of course that's the deceivers. That's Satan apparently. Maybe check your notes there where Jesus said God is light, you're gods, and also had talked about the pineal being the eye of Satan. Yeah. Well, you know, you might want to check this guy that you're claiming to be your savior. Kind of told you, stupid, that if thy eye be single, your body will fill with light. Yeah, that's anyway, I always find this quite humorous. I'm always listening from a singular perspective on these things. You know, it's like